Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Hello. It is moi. I have made it. Hello, 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 hello. Hi, Paradox. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking. What about yourself? How are you doing? How has your day been treating you? How are things? Oh, I get that. Same. Well, we can't talk like that on stream. We gotta be positive, right? Gotta keep that positivity. It'll get better. Pet, 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 pet. It'll be fine. Only good vibes in here. Yes, yes. Yum, yum, yum. Happiness and all that shit. I'm so tired. Hi, Hawk. Will you celebrate, fam? Hope you're doing well today as well. Hope everything's good on your side as well. We're gonna do something a little bit different today. Because I love mixing work and free time together. And because honestly, I don't feel like I'm wanting to do anything else right now. So, YOLO. YOLO, YOLO, YOLO. Hi, Sayan. How are you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. Alright, sorry, I'm still setting up a little bit of things because EP, hope you have enjoyed the snow. You did send more snow again, didn't you? You did. You really fucking did. We did get heavy snow the last like 2 days. The Germans have been complaining about it incredibly. You didn't? Well, then somebody else is missing behind the scenes. It's okay, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You would never. No, of course not. Of course not. You would never. Never ever in your entire life. No, 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 no. You would never. Where did I put myself? I think here's good. Kind of like this. Okay. Nothing putting myself here is good. Do you know how annoying it is to have to speak to a German spread of the wind? They only speak German, so they have to go base. Oh yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine how that's a little bit of a challenge. I'm gonna put this over here, and I'm gonna put this over here as like a little help. Do I? I'm thinking. Do I just keep the whole tab open? Maybe. Maybe I will. Kind of like this. But it's so big. Maybe I will, so we can keep the writing in there. Hello, weed guy. Welcome in. Hi, Hummer. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking, lovelies. Thank you so, so much. Oh my god, what an interesting name. Hello. How do I fucking pronounce that? The only thing I can read is chair, so I'm gonna call you Share. Also, you can steal it. It's okay. Mine is kind of broken. Hi, Sept. Some interesting. No, I'm reading my lore today because I need to fuse work and free time together so I can get shit done. Basically, you stole my chair. That's okay. I can live with that. He does like chairs, yeah. That's okay. Alright, I'm still setting up some stuff. You also stole my chair? Why would you do that? Now, why would you do that? Okay. Can you see my cursor? You can if I tab into it. Okay. Maybe I'll put the phone here. Listen, I got working in like an hour, so I need some attention to what I wrote. 5 minutes of your time. Okay, fine. Chat, do we go ahead and read Seb's lore before starting to work on mine a little bit? Maybe we should. Maybe we will. I can follow you as well. How about that? I have to sense the feeling that I get from something. Yeah, I get that. I love how you also put it on Wattpad. I was criticized for writing on Wattpad multiple times in the past, but I genuinely don't know where else to put stuff like this. I remember people writing lore on like DeviantArt, but I have no idea what other websites are like available for stuff like this. I gotta go because I want to get to 60 streamers today. If you reach that number, let me know. Come back and let me know. I'm curious. You seem like a curious person. I want to know. You are very interesting. Thank you so much for the head pets. I really appreciate it. My nose is running. I hate this. It's gonna interfere with my reading. Oh, right. I can't edit this, so it's like... Oh, never mind. Okay. This works. I ran out of tissues as well. I'm so angry. Maybe I have some lying around. Oh, I do. Jackpot. Hold up. No, I'm not gonna edit it. It's just when I want to read mine, it gives me like this view because I can edit it, and I wanted to click on it because it felt wrong because I never read something. Actually, I did read stuff on Wattpad, but ages ago. So, hi Raven. Saying yes, please make stuff warm. Because of the snow, the trash people have not been getting our trash, and it's piling up, and I'm getting pissed. We're fucking paying for it, and they're not doing their job. So, angry. Okay, I've blown my nose. Gonna have a sip of actual water and not Monster. For once. I give you some. I know you complain about. I'm sorry. It is the only like thing that bothers me about the snow. Again, you bitch. You missed this, don't you? You need to get off Monster Cast. This is an intervention. I'll fight you about it. You cannot get me off my monster. Okay, now stop making me drink water. Bring it on. I will come and get you. I'm seriously leaning into getting some ambientic music. Sorry, when talking to Chaos about Monster, you cannot take away my pipeline punch. Raven. Shh. Do I have any... I have medieval music, funk. I have Usao. Cafe, lo-fi jazz, 80s music. Epic the fucking musical. We will take away your monster. This is for health reasons. My health is fucked anyway. Alright. I will turn down the music. How loud is this? I don't want it to be too loud. Kidney stones for life. Exactly. You have a question about the disc? Yes, go ahead. Ask away. Maybe this is less... Or the future funk. No, not the funk. No. We'll go with the lo-fi jazz. Ooh! Oh, very good, Sep. That's very good. Wait, I don't have. Do I have the thing turned on for music with the self promo? No. If you want to self, if you want to self promote yourself, you have to go to other websites because we don't do that. The server is purely for staying updated on anything about the community. It is a community server that revolves purely for the community. So any types of updates, streams, videos, stuff, events, whatever. And there is no space for your own promotion. You can do that anywhere else. I don't give a shit, but not in there. You are free to share your art, obviously, and be like, hi, I made this, or like, here is, I don't know, but like, no channels, no whatnot, unless it's like approved, whatever. So, anyway, I'll put on this Dark Souls album in hopes of having my settings correct. That's quiet, Jesus. Yeah, I don't want it in my servers. Okay. For your own streams, no, we don't do that. We don't do it in here as well because this is I'm never sure if it's selfish or not, but it's like this is a stream about me and we can talk about other streamers, that's perfectly fine, but if you actively come in here advertising, that's kind of like a couple days ago we had somebody that told us about how they reached 700 followers, and that's perfectly fine. You can share your joy. That's not advertising. Does the VQ? I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe. But, and this is just my opinion about it, right? Others can have different opinions about advertising and channel sharing and whatnot. I don't discriminate about that, obviously. I just don't want it. And if you don't like that, then too bad. Let's read now, by the way, because I know Sept has a tight schedule. Let me see if the music working. Yes, we're yes, see, Sept has the same opinion about that as a VQ, is just for Guild members. So. Okay, let's read the first chapter of Sept's lore. I'm very curious about this. I have general information. I don't like this, by the way. Hold up. Sorry. I will change it after all. Don't hate me. Looks like a page of a book. Voice actress? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Me? No. No, I don't think so. Not me. Oh god, it's getting loud. Jesus. Chill. Chill, chill, chill. No, you heard me read SCPs. That's a nightmare. Okay. Chapter 1. Ash and Instinct. Before there were hierarchies of hell, before banners were raised over obsidian citadels, before the trumpets of heaven knew of prayer or the sight of its glory, there was ash. It drifted endlessly in the depthless dark, the residue of a failed beginning. The first act of creation had convulsed and torn itself apart, and its remnants fell downward without ever landing. Burned matter, shattered law, unfinished intention. The abyss was not yet a realm. It was sediment? These are a lot of smart words. I don't do smart words. From that sediment, something stirred. At first it was only a wrinkle in the ash, a disturbance no greater than a sigh. The ash clumped, fused by residual heat and strike currents of broken energy. A membrane formed, thin as oil on water. Beneath it, something pulsed. The membrane split. A pale thing pushed through. It was small, no longer than a splinter of a bone. Soft, segmented, blind. It had no limbs, yet suited for strength, only dozens of tiny, translucent legs that quivered uselessly against the power of dead worlds. Its body was little more than a tube of hunger, ringed in fragile bands that barely held together. A mouth opened at one end, round, rimmed with minute hooks, and closed again, tasting nothing but the ash between its mandibles. I'm getting smarter by reading this. I've never heard any of these words. It did not know it was alone. It did not know it was first. It only knew absence. The ash shifted beneath it, offering no nourishment. The creature instinctively, burrowing without understanding direction. The abyss had no light, but faint pulses of residual heat moved through the sediment like distant heartbeats. The creature followed them, driven by something older than the thought, pure instinct. It found decay before it found life. Pockets of coagulated matter, burned fragments of failed organisms, half-formed entities that have never stabilized, lay embedded in the ash. The creature pressed its mouth against one such clot. It fed. The substance was foul and inert, but it dissolved. The tiny hooks lining its mouth tore and pulled, and the creature's body convulsed as the first true nourishment entered it. Its segments tightened, its skin grew fractionally more opaque. It fed again and again. Time had no meaning yet, but change did. The creature grew by increments so small they could not be measured. One additional segment, then another. Each new ring strengthened the whole. Its legs thickened, gaining coordination. The blind anterior end twitched with increasing precision. It was not hunting, it was surviving. Around it, other things began to move. Where ash accumulated densely, moisture from erupted creation pooled into slick membranes. Within those membranes, lesser vermin hatched, maggots born of rot rather than intention. They were simpler than the first creature, barely segmented, mindless as drifting dust. The pale thing encountered one by accident. Their bodies collided in the ash. The maggot writhed blindly away. The pale creature followed. Instinct sharpened. Its anterior hooks extended, catching the maggot's slide hide. There was resistance. There was resistance. Weak, flailing, but it held fast. The mouth opened wider than before, anchoring. It pulled. The maggot split. Warm pulp spilled into the ash. The creature absorbed it eagerly. This flesh was richer. It carried motion within it, the faintest echo of will. The feeding lasted longer. When it was done, only a smear remained. Something changed. The creature's skin darkened from translucent white to a faint bruised gray. The segments along its back hardened, forming a subtle ridge. Its movements gained coherence, not intelligence, not yet, but direction. Hunger clarified. It sought more maggots. They were not difficult to find. The early abyss was thick with minor failures, aborted life forms that lacked the structure to endure. The pale creature grew amidst them, feeding in clumsy lungs, sometimes missing, sometimes nearly crushed beneath the writhing clusters. It learned positioning. It learned to approach from behind. It learned that a bite at the midsection immobilized more effectively than a bite at the head. Jesus, music getting crazy. Each lesson etched itself into its body. Segments multiplied. The ridge along its back sharpened into faint plates. Its legs lengthened, angling more efficiently into the ash. The hooks at its mouth grew sturdier, capable of tearing rather than merely gripping. It did not dominate, it competed. And for the first time, it encountered loss. A larger scavenger, amorphous, a slug-like, lined with rasping mouths along its underside, slid through the ash and engulfed 3 maggots in a single motion. The pale creature lunged too close. The slug's underside bruised it. Pain. Its outer membrane tore, one segment ruptured, leaking darkened fluid into the ash. The creature recoiled violently, curling upon itself. The slug ignored it, uninterested in such a small prize. Hi, Mordekaiser. The wound sealed slowly. The damaged segment shriveled, then hardened irregularly. but it did not die. Something in it refused dissolution. It retreated deeper into the sediment, where the ash was thicker and movement more difficult. There, among smaller prey, it rebuilt itself. The damaged segment calcified into a harder plate than the others, a scar, but also armor. When it emerged again, it avoided the larger scavengers. It was learning caution. As cycles passed, unmarked, unmeasured, the creature grew longer than any maggot. Its body now spanned the length of a fallen rib fragment half buried in ash. Its coloration deepened to iron gray. The ridge along its back segmented into true plates, overlapping slightly. New sensory filaments budded near its mouth, short, delicate protrusions that tasted vibrations in the ash. Through them it sensed movement before collision. It no longer fed solely on maggots. Small ash beetles began to hatch, harder-bodied things that burrowed and chewed through the coagulated debris. They possessed primitive mandibles and the faintest flick of territorial instinct. The creature approached one cautiously. The beetle turned, sensing disturbance. It snapped its mandibles. The creature did not retreat. It lunged. This prey resisted more fiercely than maggots ever had. The beetle's mandibles scored shallow lines across the creature's plate, but the creature coiled, bringing more of its length to bear, legs gripping from multiple angles. It twisted. The beetle's shell cracked. The interior was dense, fibrous, difficult to consume. It required patience. When the feeding ended, the creature's plates thickened perceptibly. Its body gained weight. Its legs strengthened to support it. The abyss did not reward mercy. It rewarded persistence. Eventually, the creature no longer needed to lunge blindly. It began to stalk, if such a small thing could be said to stalk, remaining motionless beneath a thin layer of ash until vibrations approached. Then sudden motion, seizure, tear, feed. Tear, not tear, tear. Its body extended to twice its original length, then 3 times. Where once it had been indistinguishable from vermin, now lesser creatures shifted away from its presence, not from fear, they lacked the capacity, but from the pressure of its movements. One cycle, as it consumed a cluster of beetles, a new sound rippled faintly through the ash above. Hi, Siri. A shrill, mocking cry, not the mindless friction of vermin, but articulation. The pale creature stilled. Through its budding sensory filaments, it felt something heavier than beetles, lighter than the slug scavengers, a presence that moved with irregular cadence, pausing, scraping, muttering. It did not understand language, but it recognized difference. The thing above, the first of the lesser imps that would one day infest the margins into the abyss, and dug into the ash in search of carrion. The creature did not approach, not yet. It remained buried, plates pressed against cooling sediments as the imp scavenged and skittered. It felt the imp's clawed feet. It sensed the sharper, hotter pulse within its body, a more complex vitality than maggots or beetles had ever carried. Richer, dangerous, the creature did not move until the imp retreated. Hunger urged it upward. Instinct, newly tempered by survival, held it still. It was not strong enough, not yet. And so, in the silent sediment of a newborn abyss, the first centipede in all creation, though no name had yet coiled within it, waited, for now it learned to be small. The end. Interesting. How do I put this to my watch list again? How does that work? Was it this button? Ah, there we go. Sure. Small CTP bugs. Yes, no, I liked it. It has like a, how do you explain this style of writing? Honestly, not that different from the book I was reading yesterday, where they explained things in this very specific way. I don't know how to. I don't have the words to. Oh, look, Spotify. To like explain. Yeah, I can't articulate myself well enough to explain what it is. Anyway, hello everyone that joined. Hello, 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 hello. Hi Siri. Did everybody get a shout out? I didn't. Let me. We did. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And to piss off some of you, I'm gonna have a sip of Monster now. This is not the right way. Vaguely indescriptive, if that makes sense. Yes. My mind is just. I don't speak fancy English very well. I don't have. I'm missing the articulation for that. Obviously. So words are hard, but generally good. Like it. Very, very, very godlike, like God story. How do you? I can't speak. Oh my god. I need to change this again. Mythologic? I don't know. I don't speak very well. Boom. Anyway, you guys were asking about Heartopia, right? Not playing it. Hate it, actually. And I don't play with the community. I'm sorry. So, I hope that answers enough of your questions. I know Vex and others do it, but I don't. So even if I were to play Heartopia with them, I would only do it off stream because no. I don't do that. Okay. Oh god, I'm tired, my friends. Oh. Gacha Life combined The Sims. Yeah, true. I get that. You're welcome, Lilim. Okay, now that we have read Sep's lore, I warmed up a bit, that's nice. I have to get ready and work for like 15 minutes. I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. Today's my day off and we decided to build 2 shelves, which took about 3 hours or 4. So I'm fucking tired. But now my clothes are not on the floor anymore, so that's rather nice. I'd like to think. Basically what I'm gonna do today is just keep writing my lore, but I'm gonna read it from the beginning because reading it out loud gives me a better feel of how it sounds. So if there are any mistakes, I can fix them better, if that makes sense. And I want to get a better grip of the storyline and write down, like, as I read, I'm going to write down things like age and dates and stuff like that so I can, yeah, have a better grip of, like, what the fuck's going on. I think that makes enough sense. So it's kind of like a co-working situation where I'm just going to do my thing and you guys can just hang out. I think that's fine. So I'll just be reading, changing stuff, yada yada yada. I like reading the Raw Chapter 14 file and seeing my name. Yeah. Do I? Maybe I still have it. Let me actually go see if it actually was. I need to see my own mistakes. Hold up. Where did I put it? Oh, did I put it in the KOS lore thing? No, it's not in here. Oh, I think it's in here. Lore? Lore. There. Chapter 14. Let me see. Is it this one? Yeah. Where does it say? Oh, I actually don't know. But yeah, no, it is this one. This is raw. I didn't edit it. This is even shorter. How many words does this It doesn't even tell me. But it's longer. I think I added a lot of stuff as well. Close to the bottom page of 2. Oh yeah, something creeping. Crept. I can't find it, but it's okay. But it is this version. That is very, very funny. But no, that's raw. Just like chapter 16 is. It's raw. So, oh, you can't see it. I'm an idiot. Here. All the chapters. There. Chapter 16 is still raw. But it's okay. But yeah. As we said, maybe I was writing to you while I was writing that, so my mind just got yeah. Basically. All I know is if I change these things on Wattpad, I'm gonna have to change them in my files as well. Rent free, yeah, you do. I just gotta keep that in mind because I saved all of them on my PC just in case Wattpad ever fucking died or something. I don't know. Anyway, enough yapping. I need to focus on this. I still want to do. Sorry, I'm gonna talk again. I want to do pictures because I love it so much. I did put the map in like some of them, but I need more. So lots of trying in the future. How loud is the music? It is not audible. I want it to be quiet, but not. It's so loud to me. It is really quiet, right? Because for me, it isn't. It's probably fine. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I live in your walls, guys. Give away the bad luck. Oh, that's so sweet. Really, really kind. Okay, so the first note I want to write down is that the story starts in the year 50,017 in winter. So there was a seasonal shift due to Chapter 7 uncut, Chapter 6 unproved. What? These are not accurate. This is the accurate lore. 11, blah, blah, blah. And the story info I have here as well. There. There it is. Basically, the seasons changed and the story starts in May, being winter. Keep that open, very important. Do I like this for a title, by the way? Like an origin or the origin. I think I like this more, except for one word. Anyway, the story is read in the main character's point of view in a way where she's like telling the story. Basically, I don't know why I wrote it like that, but I'm too lazy to change it, so we're just going with that. YOLO. And I think it's more fun since I'm gonna be reading it. Sorry, I'm putting on lip balm. Anyway, the music is too chipper. My name is Caitlin Albrecht. I'm the youngest daughter of an aristocratic family of Munchkin cat people. Mother, father, a bigger brother, and twin sisters. Mother, father, a bigger brother, and twin sisters. My appearance is that of a petite girl, complemented by a big fluffy tail, a freckled face, blue eyes, and long pink hair. In case you were wondering, in case you're wondering, why cat people? Let me explain. In 2054, planet Earth was hit by a massive meteorite, which wiped out 86% of the population. It shifted the seasons and left the remaining few to survive with whatever was left. Life on Earth then developed in strange and fascinating ways. And since magic was discovered back in 2030, all kinds of creatures and mythical beings began to flourish and evolve, each with different abilities, enhanced strength, prophetic dreams, and so much more. Vampires, fairies, spirits, anything of magical origin. Well, at least that's what I read in a book once. Do I start this? I grew up in a large, fancy-looking house placed on a hill that overlooked our town, Cedarville, a quiet port town between rolling hills and a thick blue forest. One special thing about Cedarville and the blue forest were their blue wood cedar trees. Cedarville, where their blue was its forest with blue wood cedar trees which surrounded it all. Tall ancient trees with bark that shimmered faintly under light. Thank you so much for Snacky. Welcome in. Am I snacking? I think I am. I don't have any small snacks. I'm gonna eat cat tongue. And that is a candy of chocolate. It's tasty. Tasty. Nom nom nom. Do you guys also get the urge to drink water when you eat chocolate? Because I do. Or any liquid for this matter. Deliciousness. Why do you have a little bing bong? That's so cute. I have a little bing bong. Like when you eat something. Yeah. I don't know. Chocolate just makes you kind of like want to drink water. You know? I don't know. Every winter they performed a little miracle. When the snow settled. Alright, how's Bing Bong? You don't know? Okay. It says, what does it say? Nothing, I don't know. Bing Bong Love. Oh, because you were watching a peak stream, that's why you got it. That's what it says right here. It's okay. Every winter they performed a little miracle. When the snow settled high on their branches, just like cockwork, the trees would begin to sway. Not from the wind, but it was like they decided it was time. The snow would tumble down, blanketing the first floor in a glittering white layer, nourishing the roots, the moss, and the small creatures that called the woods their home. Our town was mostly inhabited by cat people, but there were some other kinds of folk too. Our gardener, for example, was a big orc. He did his job pretty well too. And our mailman was a dog-like creature. Odd, I know, but it worked. Unfortunately, my childhood was far from the picture-perfect life you might expect when hearing wealthy aristocratic family. Our mansion may have looked like something out of a storybook, but inside things were different, complicated even. I'm certain it didn't start out that way. In the beginning, things were okay. I had vague memories of laughter, being held, even moments when my sisters and I played together without anyone crying or getting hurt. But then something shifted. Maybe it was because I started getting sick a lot. coughs that wouldn't go away, fevers that made me miss big events, and constant hospital visits. My father grew angrier with every bill, claiming I was draining the family's fortune. I did tune in for that one charity tourney for Peak that might have given me a no. That would probably be it. Then my sister's games turned cruel. They dunked my head in the toilet or tripped me on the stairs, laughing as I cried. They blamed me for things I didn't do just to see me get punished. My brother stopped speaking to me altogether, like I'd become invisible. And then my mother, on the other hand, hated the gossip that followed. The Albrechts have a weak child, as if my existence was some kind of stain on her perfect image. She'd always mutter under her breath that I ruined her figure, or worse, that she'd wished I'd never been born at all. Her soft hands became cold, and her gaze turned into ice. Apparently I was too loud, too clumsy, too much. I never fit the mold my mother had in mind. I didn't walk the right way. I didn't smile when I was supposed to. I asked questions that made them uncomfortable. I was the crack in their perfect porcelain display. You see, in my family, appearances were everything. We were more brand than bloodline. Every gesture was rehearsed, every smile practiced, every feeling hidden. Over time, the warmth in our home faded. The message became clear. I was a burden. Everything had to be perfect, tidy, controlled. And I wasn't. You reached 60, let's go! Let's fucking go! Good job, chair. Good job! How did the other people react? Oh shit, I just found my vacation papers that I need to fill. She gave me 3. Why the fuck? Okay. Sure. Whew. Is enough for today? Fair. Popping in and out of streams, I get it. But enough about that. My real story began on my 16th birthday, May 26th, 2017. It was almost winter. My entire family sat around the dinner table, eating the soup of the day made by our lovely butler James. He was an old cat man with wrinkled whiskers and bushy eyebrows. You could see the years on his face. Like me, he suffered under my parents' tyrannical ways, but luckily for him, today was his last day before retirement. His biggest dream after today was to see one of this version's. His biggest dream after today was to see one of this version of Earth's meteor showers, which only happened every few years. He had told me a couple times. I envied him. Per usual, I had noticed a disgusting, pungent odor coming from the food on my plate. Of course, someone was trying to get rid of me again. Another stupid attempt. This wasn't even the first time. Since my father got tired of paying hospital bills, he got this brilliant idea to just let me die. Too bad for him, it wasn't all too easy. Even my mother got tired of the whole thing. A couple of years ago, she hired a witch to poison me. Oh my god. But then all I got was a tiny bottle of green liquid to drink. It didn't have any noticeable effects, so my mother felt scammed and banned the witch from ever coming back. I sighed, narrowed my eyes, and ate everything on my plate. This is exactly something I would write in 6th. Shut the fuck up! I was in 6th grade when I write this. Raven, listen. This is not even like the first version of this. There were probably like 5 different versions of the beginning of this that I have written in the past like years. And this is already edited by grown-up me, right? It ain't that bad. It is kind of edgy though. But you know what? I am. So unlucky. Once the rest of the family had finished their meal and scattered around the house, I stayed behind to help James clean the kitchen one last time. I often got in trouble for it, but I still helped him every now and then. He didn't talk much, but he was always there when I needed him. Once the kitchen was sparkling clean again, I turned to go up to my room, but James gently placed his head on my shoulder, stopping me. My child, my dear child, he said, his voice soft. Stay strong for me. I know things will get better. He said reassuringly? Is that something? Reassuringly. Wait. Reassuringly. Yeah, no. It's correct. Okay. My dear child, he said, his voice soft. Stay strong for me. I know things will get better. No, we're gonna keep this away. I nodded and then gave him a big hug. Thanks, James. Take care out there, okay? He nodded and waved me off. Waved me goodbye. Goodbye. Then I went up to my room. I was happy that at least he could live in peace now. Oh, little typo there. And held back my tears. As soon as I got to my room, I wanted to go straight to bed, but my stomach was growling and I started to feel sick again. I was no stranger to the after effects of poison in my food, but this time it felt much worse. You definitely have a better writing because I don't have much spacing. No. I use DeepL, right? Hold up, let me show you the whole website. I can let it like correct me. There's like a shit ton of other settings for it, but I just want it to correct like the grammar for me. I know there's like other ways to do this, but I found this to be the easiest. So it like shows me stuff and I'm just like, okay, I can fix this. And it shows me that it could use this, but I want to, you know. Grammar is really the only thing pissing me off. So. Yeah, no, I have typos all the time. What's it called? DeepL. Wait. I show you. There. DeepL. So whenever I write something important, I put it in DeepL to see my mistakes and learn from it. This is like, I find this a nice way to like better myself. I used to use Google Translate for it, but Google Translate sucks ass, so I stopped. There you go. Okay. I staggered into my small bathroom and leaned over the toilet seat. Without warning, I fell to my knees and threw up. I exhaled heavily and peeked into the bowl, only to find a sickly green mass inside. That's disgusting, I muttered, shivering. Just as I was about to flush, the mass moved. What the? I looked around for something and grabbed my toothbrush from the sink. I poked the blob. It started to shake and rise up until a full figure about my size was standing there, almost human. A face, arms, legs, even something that looked like hair. Yeah, I use for corrections and when I need to write something. No, don't use that. It's evil. To be honestly, I don't think DeepL is that much better. I mean, you know what? I'm sick of the whole AI blaming people. You did do what you want to do. I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, it's like, yeah, no, I know. People need to relax. I get the appeal, but the whole, I don't know. You're fine. My face went white as its eyes opened, glowing red. The figure stretched lazily and yawned, flashing a set of sharp teeth as it was stepping out of the toilet bowl. Why did I put so much spacing here? I grabbed my tail and fell backwards in shock. The room suddenly felt darker. The slimy figure crouched in front of me, scanning me with curious eyes. This is it, I thought. I'm going to die. Finally. Jesus Christ, your face is ugly. it said completely casually, and sat down right in front of me. Huh? It spoke in an incredibly rude way. This sounds not correct. Incredibly. It's incredibly. 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 Rude way. What are you? I managed to ask, my voice trembling. The creature grinned. I don't know, but I came from your insides, that's for sure. It pointed at my stomach. Silence. Its voice sounded feminine. Sort of. I blinked a couple of times. You're a girl? It tilted its head and looked down at its body. Maybe? I think I'm going crazy. My mouth hung open. The slime giggled. I don't really know much more than you do, Katie, she said. At some point, I just kind of was. And then I started watching everything. Always. She stood up. Little droplets of slime fell from her body and vanished in a puff of smoke as they hit the floor. Since when? I asked. She just shrugged. I don't know. Couple months, years maybe. Then I slowly got up, shaky on my feet, and stumbled back to my room. She followed me, curiosity showing on her blob-like face. And then she decided to plop down on my bed and snuggled herself into the blanket like it was hers. I stared. She didn't leave any stains on the blanket. Okay, wait, just to clarify, I said. You're a slime-like creature that I casually puked up in my toilet. She nodded with a big grin. Yep, pretty great, right? Happy birthday to me, she sang. She mused. I think muse is a better word. She mused. Hi, Poco. I backed up, eyes wide. This is insane. I'm insane. Complete and utter chaos. Oh, right, I put this at the end of my fees. I forgot to do that. I'm so silly. Also, I hate this title. Why is it called this? Do I have the link here? I do. Hot. I looked up my work and the first sentence is, you will die. Where's that from? I feel like that's a sentence from something I know. You will die where you stand. Oh, it's wait. It's from Undertale. It's from Undertale. When you sit down with Sans, he's like, you'd be dead where you stand. In the restaurant. If I had it my way, you'd be dead where you stand. That's what he says. I think. Maybe. I remember from Starkiller and Star Wars Force. No, right. It was something Star Wars related as well. I was first thinking about Anakin in the movie thingy, but I didn't find. Yeah, no. That makes sense. And he said that. Yeah. No, that might be. That might be. You have got to be kidding me. I had thought to myself. The room felt like it was spinning, and I got dizzy trying to grasp what was happening. I looked up at the clock over the room's door. At the room's door, almost 7 p.m. Then I pinched my hand and looked back at the slime girl, which was examining her own slimy hand with an annoyed expression, shaking it. The character said that to his father, a little sneak peek. Ooh. Weird. She then walked over to the bed excitedly and jumped onto it. Wait. Hold that thought. No, I have an idea how to fix this. She then walked back over to the bed, jumped back into it. She then walked back over to the she then walked back over to the bed excitedly and jumped right into it. Right back into it. Man, these sheets are soft, she said, swiveling around. You know, when we shared a body, my sensations were very different from this. She saw how I froze and decided to come over. I flinched a bit as I noticed her standing in front of me. Her eyes were too beautiful. Her eyes were beautiful to me. One red and the other hidden under her hair. No, I hate the sentence. I don't like this. This sounds wrong. It is correct though. Sorry. Her eyes were beautiful to me. One red and the other hidden under her black. A black-ish color. I couldn't stop staring. Our eyes locked for a couple of seconds. Oh my god, is that Victoria? Hello! Welcome in. Thank you so much for the sub, beautiful. Hello, hello, hello. 5 months in a row, that's amazing. Wow! Hello, 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 beautiful. Such pretty colors, I said quietly under my breath. Her body seemed kind of see-through too, as well. You're just checking in. That's perfectly fine, don't worry. Creepy much? She exclaimed, catching me staring at her a little too long, then bumped my shoulder before wandering off to examine the rest of the room. She touched my books, checked out the plushies, and then stopped at the mirror. Damn, kitty cat, I look almost like you, but green and a bit taller? She said, surprised but clearly amazed. I walked over and stood beside her, looking into the mirror. Whoa, you're right. Sort of. The slime girl seemed oddly proud of her appearance, given how weird it actually was. What am I going to do now? I had no idea how to handle this kind of situation. No matter... Another typo. Which scenario I thought up, there seemed to be no way out of this mess for now. Should I tell Mother and Father? I asked aloud. The slime grinned. You sure you want to go tell those fucked up wannabe parents that an alien-like being is now living under their roof? She said while checking out her own face closer to the mirror. I was shocked by how rude her language was, but she did make a good point. I looked down at the floor, worried, fidgeting with my hands. My parents would freak. That's what I thought, kitty cat. The room got very silent for just a second. You know, we could just run away, she said, putting her hands on her hips. Run away? Like, outside into the unknown? Are you serious? I asked, obviously confused and a little bit mad. Yeah, just ditch this whole dump and go live somewhere else. And go live somewhere. Over the rainbow. I've thought about it many times, she said, nodding excitedly and spreading her arms wide. That's a really foolish idea. They would notice and send the police after me. A scandal like that would destroy this family, I said. Afraid? What's a different word for afraid? Let's use thesaurus. What if I type this in? Oh, I said, oh. Anxious. I like that. Anxious. Afraid, apprehended, careful. Concerned. No, concerned is better. I said, oh. Wait, look. It's just big. I said concerned. It's just screaming. Our brains are wrinkling by the seconds. No, 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 no. This is I'm learning. This is good. Oh, please. Like they care about you anyway. Here, I have an idea. You stay put and I'll be right back, the slime said before walking towards the door. It's not a good thing though, but it's not my first language. I'm learning. This is good. Trust me, my vocabulary will get better. 100%. Smooth, bad, wrinkly brain, good. Oh! Sorry, I can't read. Sometimes I feel like I'm dyslexic, but then I write and then I don't. Where was I? She's not thinking of going out to them, right? I thought, fear running down my spine. I tried to grab her shoulder, but slipped right through it, almost stumbling to the ground. Everything was moving way too fast for me to keep up. Your third language? That's impressive. Hold up, where are you? What are you doing? I spoke a bit more quietly, not wanting to alert anyone. She left the room, went down the staircase, and disappeared into the study room where my mom kept her books and documents. I couldn't just let her roam free around the house and hurried after her quietly, opening the door slowly and whispered, Slimy, where did you go? I scanned the room frantically. A faint scent of tobacco still lingered from the last time my mother smoked in there. Then I saw her, sitting on the chair behind my mother's desk, fishing around in one of the drawers. She was hunched over, checking out the items she pulled out. A pen, which she immediately stuck into her body, some papers got tossed carelessly behind her, and candy wrappers that she sniffed curiously. Now, where is it? I remember seeing it, she mused, her green tongue sticking out of her mouth in a silly way. Seeing what? You've never been here. Oh, we need to leave before anybody notices, I hissed, panicking as I walked over to her. She then pulled out a lighter, my mom's cigarette lighter. Haha, gotcha, she exclaimed triumphantly. A lighter? What did she need for that? Look at Lilum with the bing bong! And now to fix all of our problems, she cheered, lighting the flame and striding over to the nearest pile of books. What are you doing? I asked, trying to grab her, but once again my hand slipped right through her. The light tumbled onto the books, and the pages caught fire instantly. The hairs on my tail stood on end, and a cold shiver ran down my spine. She just giggled mischievously and shot me a glance. The fire began to spread faster than I could even process, and soon the alarms went off. Oh no, we have to leave. Mom's going to kill me. I spun around, panicking, not sure what to do. Suddenly, the slime girl grabbed my hand and dragged me along. What are you doing? Hold up, we need to get help. How can you touch me? I exclaimed, trying to resist trying to understand. She was strong, much stronger than she looked. Don't worry, about time we got out of this hellhole, she said, dragging me back upstairs into the stair railing. There we crouched, hidden in the shadows, watching the chaos below unfold. The first to notice was my mother. She started to scream after seeing the fire coming out of her study. Then she ran from room to room, trying to gather her children and wake up her husband. He then ran up the other side of the staircase, grabbing my brother and rushing him down to my mother and sisters, who clutched him protectively. It'll be okay, the firemen will be here soon, she said with tears in her eyes, pulling everyone close. It's too much spacing. Why did I do that? I don't know. They hurtled together under the growing fire. Then the main door Then suddenly, the main door got blocked by burning wood beams, collapsing with a loud crash. Fire truck sirens wailed somewhere in the distance. We need to get down there, Slime. This isn't okay. What are you doing? If we stay here, we'll suffocate, I cried, struggling against her grip. But she didn't listen. She just held me tighter and watched the others with spite. The smell of smoke clogged my nose, and the taste of ash coated my tongue. The fire spread from room to room, relentless. I heard the firemen trying to smash down the door, shouting orders. Screams echoed from my sister's room and somewhere else in the house. Did someone die? What's happening? I got so dizzy I lost touch with reality. And before I knew it, I was being dragged back into my room. The slime girl glanced around briefly before heading straight to the window. She smashed it effortlessly and dragged me along. Now, both of us stood on the narrow ledge. Thank you for whiskers. The house was built high on a cliff overlooking the beautiful blue cedar tree forest, but the ground below seemed impossibly far away. The sight made my vision blur and my knees buckle. I collapsed against the solid wall behind the window, too stunned to speak. No, don't jump, I begged, tears welling in my eyes. Hot. My back hurts. Ugh. Ugh. Oh god. This is what I get for building 2 shelves in an hour. Ugh. Jesus Christ. I want to sleep. Jesus. For those that are actively listening, if there's anything you guys feel like you want to point out, definitely don't hold back. I'm always welcome to hear criticism. Since I don't know who's actually reading it, you know. We jumped. I felt dizzy, my heartbeat drumming in my ears as I squeezed my eyes shut in fear. The slime girl had pulled me tightly against her before jumping down the huge cliff, without hesitation, throwing both of us into freefall. I expected the worst, but when I opened my eyes again, I found myself in her arms. Her feet were planted firmly on the solid ground, perfectly unharmed. She laughed loud, set me down, and grabbed my hand, pulling me along into the blue cedar forest. Don't you worry, kitty cat. I kinda needed to survive anyway. I looked back over my shoulder and saw blue and red lights flashing around the house. December. December? No, May. We are in May. May. The end of May. The perfect time of the year for the forest to shake itself, letting the snow reach the ground. And that's exactly what happened. At first it was beautiful to watch, snow falling down from the towering trees, but it quickly started to get freezing cold. I wore only socks on my feet, and my dress wasn't nearly enough to keep me warm. I can't remember how long we were running. Hours, maybe. It was getting darker, too. Hold up, I can't anymore, I cried out, begging for a break. The slime girl ignored me and kept pulling. I dug my heels into the ground, pushing against her, making both of us stumble. Ugh, fine, she complained, annoyed, grabbed my shoulders with her big slimy hands and pressed herself into me. I went from confusion to fear, squeezing my eyes shut, bracing for something, but nothing happened, no matter how long I waited. Huh? I opened my eyes, and the slime girl was no longer there. I was completely alone in the vast snow-covered forest. Slimy? I asked slowly into the nothingness. I'm still here. A voice echoed inside my head. I nearly jumped at the phantom sound, startled, and frantically looked around for its source. Ugh, I'm inside you, you idiot. Now keep moving. Your body's giving in soon. All of a sudden, my body started to move on its own. What is happening? I cried out. Us! That's what's happening. A few more hours passed, though it felt endless, until I find... Oh, this is a terrible... A few more hours passed, though it felt endless. Though it felt endless until I finally collapsed into the cold snow. My vision blurred and my feet had gone completely numb. I could still hear the slime calling out to me, urging me to get back up, to keep moving, but her voice grew fainter and fainter until it faded away entirely. I blinked a few times, gasping for air. Grasping for air, the cold biting into every inch of my body. The last thing I saw before everything went completely dark was a tall, faint figure appearing on the horizon. How do I cut this? Because it's like a cut. I got woken up again by a savory smell, which filled my nose, warming me from the inside out. It was hunger. It was hunger that pulled me back. When I opened my eyes, I saw a wooden, unfamiliar ceiling. Muffled somewhere in the background, I could hear the clatter of cutlery and plates being moved. Thank you so much for posture and check. I will do a little stretch. Oh my god, my back. Oh, it hurts so bad. Oh. I hate it. Oh, my back is so fucked. I'm not even shrimping. I am sitting relatively 90 degrees with my feet on the ground, right? After sitting up, it took me a second to realize I had been lying in a bed. Thick socks hugged... Thick? Is thick a good word? I don't like thick. Fat, hard, heavy mess is why compact. Deep. Like fluffy or something. No. Stupid? No, not stupid. Thick. Do I have another word for fluffy, maybe? Woolly? I like woolly. Woolly. Where was I? Yeah, sure. Better than thick. Woolly socks hugged my feet and a fireplace heated the room. Next to me, a wide window offered a beautiful view of the blue cedar forest, now completely covered in snow, glistening under the sunlight that crept through the trees. Suddenly, I heard someone approaching. This music doesn't fit at all. I want music, though. Maybe I'm gonna put on... I like the Made in Abyss soundtrack a lot. Hold up. Tasty legs and crispy thighs. There we go. No, yeah, this one. And the question is, if you guys can hear it as well, that's the important part. Oh, yes. There. Suddenly I heard someone approaching. The hair on my tail stood up. My whole body making my whole body instinctively tense up. Tense up? Do you write it like that? I think so. Through the door appeared a tall lady with long reddish hair and a ruby-colored necklace dangling from her neck. She had beautiful slender hands and carried a tray to my bed with a glass of water and a bowl of steaming food. Oh good, you've woken up. I was really worried you wouldn't want to come back at all. Her voice was so soft and cheerful that it brought me a strange sense of comfort. I couldn't help but stare. Are you doing all right? You're lucky, my dear. If I hadn't found you... Oh, I don't even want to say it out loud. She placed her hand on my forehead. Cold hands. Good, you don't have a fever anymore. That's something, right? I was completely taken aback by this lady's friendliness. My name is Macy. Nice to meet you, you little miracle kitten, she said, stroking my head and placing the tray on the bedside table. She looked at me expectantly. Oh, my name is Caitlin. Only Katie is okay. I hate the sentence. I quickly decided to refrain from sharing my lost name. What a pretty name, she smiled warmly. Now, eat something, dear. You must be starving. She took the plate of steaming food and placed it, as well as the rest of the tray, right in front of me. That needs to be a calmer. This is my homemade curry, made with the fruits that grow here in the cedar forest. They're really hard to find, so enjoy it to the fullest, she said proudly, stroking my head again. I'm going to run you a bath now. Call for me if you need anything, and don't forget to drink. After 3 days without water, you really need it. She left the room, and I was alone with the lovely food. Tears formed at the corners of my eyes as soon as the door closed. I couldn't help it. No one had been this kind to me in a long time. Only James had ever treated me this way, and even that had been limited to the rules made up by my family. After the first bite of food, I couldn't stop myself. I chugged down the rest. It was so wonderfully tasty. It didn't smell bad either, and it felt warm and comforting in my stomach. Don't cry just because a stranger made you something to eat. Ah, yes, the slime. You thought I forgot about it. I hesitated briefly, but chose to ignore her and eat the rest in silence. Now that I was satiated and my mind quiet, all those memories came flooding back. I felt terribly sick, thinking about my family, probably reduced to charred corpses because I had left them behind. I covered my mouth with my hands and cramped up, tipping the glass on the tray and spilling water onto the floor. Maisie must have heard it because she rushed into the room. She noticed the water first, then saw me, and without hesitation she took me into her arms. Hey, what's wrong? She asked, her voice laced with sorry. When she saw the tears streaming down my face and the way I shivered silently, she hugged me tighter, stroking my head once again. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. I clung to Macy and let all the grief pour out. This was the first time I had felt some sort of safety and security. The warmth of Macy's body soothed me, and in her embrace I passed out again. Before I drifted off completely, I thought I heard the voice of someone complaining. The slime, perhaps? The next day, I was awakened by the bright sunlight creeping through the window. This is very loud. There, this is better. I sat up slowly, rubbing my eyes, and let out a light sigh as I took another good look around the room. Everything looked pretty normal, aside from the fact that it was entirely made of wood. You could see the craftsmanship in almost every corner. I wondered if Macy had made it herself or bought it somewhere. Good morning, I heard Macy's soft voice as she came through the door. Are you feeling better, dear? She asked worriedly, sitting down on the edge of the bed with me. I nodded shyly. I've got some hot water running for you. If you want, I'll show you to the bathroom. You can freshen up there, she added kindly, holding out her hand. I hesitated for a moment out of fear, but I couldn't help being curious about all of this. It just seemed too good to be true, and I really needed a bath. Of course, I hadn't forgotten about the slime either. Something so unbelievably awful doesn't just vanish from your mind. And even though I had escaped that horrible house, I wasn't sure I could ever live with the feeling that I might be responsible for the death of my whole family. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. It's too quiet now. I'm gonna kill myself. Da, 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 Once we arrived in the bathroom, the first thing that jumped out at me was that once again, everything seemed to be made of wood. Did she really end up building all of this herself? If so, the craftsmanship it must have taken to pull off was seriously impressive. Even the bath looked like a giant oval barrel. Macy took some towels from a chest of drawers and placed them on a chair by the bathtub. And said, if there's anything wrong, call me, will you? In the meantime, I'll find you some nice clothes, since your sweet dress is all dirty and torn. I nodded and watched her leave the room, and then I was standing there all by myself again. Or at least I thought I was. Go on then, get inside. Your cold body will make me freeze to death. I winced. Winced? No, winced is weird. Winced? Cringe, flinch, grimace, recoil, blenched. Flinched? No, flinched maybe. Flinched. I flinched. Oh, Slimy. I almost forgot about you, I said in a raspy voice as I trotted over to the bathroom mirror. I stared deep into my own eyes, reflecting on the surface, hoping to see something. You look terrible. Alright, and don't call me Slimy. The slime girl's voice spoke. Rude, I thought to myself. You look better after a bath, I'm sure. Okay, I'll do it. I took off my dirty dress and dropped it to the floor. Then I looked at the water again and swallowed. A warm bath, just for me. I was so happy. At home I was always the last to bathe, and the water would be cold by the time it was my turn. I dipped a toe in, to test the temperature, and once I was sure it wasn't too hot, I slid all the way in, sat down comfortably, and let the water soothe my aching body. Ah, how nice, I murmured, feeling a little groggy. Ah, yes. How nice indeed, said the slime girl sarcastically. She was suddenly sitting on the other side of the bathtub. I jumped a little, but slowly sank back down until the water reached my nose. Oh my god, hello, Masked Shadow. It's been a while since I've seen you around. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Spylog, hello. Is the cute kitty riding her alone? I sure am, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I have finished almost half of it. And today I wanted to reread all of it properly to get like a proper, how do you want to say this? Like I want to understand what's going on, you know? It's been a while. It has been. And I'm glad you're back, and I hope you're doing wonderful, and I hope that 2026 has been treating you, not too harshly. Impressive, aren't I? She boosted? Boasted? I don't like this. Boasted? Boosted? Advertised? Bullbuster Bully? Cock. Wait, I think I'm gonna do the whole screen. I might hate. Like, this is maybe better. Half of it, 4 chapters in. No. Look. I have 16 chapters right now, and we're about to hit the halfway mark of the lore. I kept on missing your streams. No, I'm so sorry about that. I'm sorry. I can, huh? What? Anyway. Advertise? Boosted? I think I'm gonna say it boosted then. Impressive, aren't I? She boosted, grinning mischievously. I wasn't sure how to respond, so I brushed off her behavior. Okay. I never thought anyone would draw me a warm bath, I said calmly, playing with the bubbles in the water. Macy takes such good care of me, but I can't help feeling suspicious. I don't trust her at all, the slime girl said, crossing her arms. Neither did I trust her, I thought. What do you want me to call you, by the way? Apparently you don't want me to... Apparently you don't want me to keep calling you Slimy. I said a little mockingly. Mocking? Mockingly? To mock? I said... No, not shock. Mockingly? In a mocking tone. That's great. I said... in a mocking tone. That's hot. Thanks for the headphones, by the way. In a mocking tone. I don't care about names. They serve no logical purpose, she replied, annoyed, trying to play with the bubbles too. Her body reacted to the water like oil, refusing to sink or mix with it. Well, yes, but on the other hand, I don't like the idea of not addressing you properly. Besides, you said you didn't like Slimy, I argued, sitting up straighter. For a long second, we just stared at each other grimly. Hi, Shelly! Welcome in! Close enough. What kind of cat do you think you are? I'm writing the Lord! No, it's already written! It has been written. Wait. I'm just editing it. I'm just editing the lore. I'm rereading everything to get like a proper like view of everything. An orange one. Ooh. I have an orange one at home. They are something. Let's not do this. I remember back on what an uncomfortable situation it was. That is such a bad sentence. Fix this, please. I remember how comfortable it was back then. That's better. I remember how uncomfortable it was back then. How uncomfortable this situation was back then. Shelly, how are you doing today? Can we get a shout out for lovely Unliving Lake? But still fancy and beautiful? Yes. Do you think they might still be alive? I asked carefully. She just shrugged. I don't really care about them. They've been assholes to you for as long as I can remember. I'd be glad if they were dead. Such terrible words coming from the strange being. I looked at her bitter. Bitterly? Bitter. They've been trying to get rid of you forever. I don't understand how you can still worry about them, she added, clearly upset. I watched her closely. One side of her hair was draped across her face. Her teeth looked sharp and yellowish, and her nose, strangely, looked just like mine. You should be glad I got us out of here. Now we're finally free. Can we not listen to fucking Hannah Zeve? Hannah Zeve, please, thank you. It's a sad one. Maybe it's fine. I gave her a questioning look. What exactly do you mean by that? Can I do calmer here? Yes. Well, at the beginning I could only see, hear, and feel, but once I realized I could separate myself from you, everything got so much easier. Though it didn't last long. I get strangely tired after a while. Not that song again, I'm sorry! It helps me write. My stand-up is amazing. For like fantasy shit. I do need something funny though for this scene. Hold up. Oh yeah, this one's good. Suddenly the bathroom door opened and Macy stepped inside. She was holding a couple of clothes and 2 shampoo bottles. Why is it loading now? Keeps on making me cry sometimes. I love Made in Abyss so much. Genuinely. So much. There we go. Suddenly the bathroom door opened and Macy stepped inside. Hi, Spongy Man. She was holding a couple of clothes and 2 shampoo bottles. Katie, I forgot to bring you some shampoo, but... She froze at the sight of me sitting in a tub full of foam bubbles with a green thing beside me. For a moment, we all just stared at each other. Macy's expression darkened. She dropped the clothes and shampoo bottles on the floor, and then slowly moved her hand towards her leg, where a belt with a dagger was strapped. Spylock, thank you for the follow! Welcome to the community! I hope you enjoy your stay. Yeah. Welcome. I noticed and quickly stood up in the water. No! It's all good. She won't hurt me. She's kind of like a sister, I think. I stammered, panicked, with only a few bubbles covering my body. No one moved. The air was thick with tension. What helps me is some fantasy bar ambience with medievalish music. Oh yeah, no, I do that. I do. I have that as well. In Spotify, I have a medieval music, no copyright playlist. So, just Spy is fine. Yeah, the vibes are really chill. Yay, that's good. I think our vibes are like a pendulum. Either absolutely fuck-ass crazy or just chill and comfy. How did she get here? Macy asked cautiously, her stance relaxing just a little. Oh, how do I explain this? She's going to... I thought she would think I'm crazy at first. I can't write. I need to do this. Well, she kind of emerged from my body back when we... Please. Get dressed first. I don't want you catching another cold, she interrupted gently, picking the dropped items up and placing them on the sink. She left the room, telling me she'd be waiting just outside the door. The slime girl was still sitting on the edge of the bathtubs, quietly snickering to herself. But with the sound, so you actually feel like you're in a tavern, you feel me? Oh yeah, no, I feel you. Definitely. I hurriedly grabbed the towel, dried myself off, and got dressed. Macy had brought me a big purple hoodie, a bluish skirt, and matching stockings. She'd even include 2 hair ties, which I used to tie my hair into low-hanging pigtails. This is a reference to the first ever chaos design I did. I took a quick glance in the mirror, then braced myself to confront Macy. Da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. Ooh, Animal Crossing music hits hard too. Maybe. No, this one's too crazy. I need happy Made in Abyss music, not the sad fuck. That stuff just makes me want to cry. Shingeki no Kyojin Best House. Sure, I'll listen to that. Making me sob. I just go with this. Good luck, kitty cat, the slime girl said, waving me off as she submerged herself in the bathtub. I gave her a blank look. She's not going to kick us out, is she? The slime girl just shrugged. I sighed and opened the door. Macy was standing against the wall next to it, her arms crossed. She opened her eyes and gave me a reassuring smile. You all right so far? Sorry, I freaked out a bit. It's not every day you find a cat and a green thing in your bathtub, you know? She explained, scratching the back of her head. She seemed a little worried. Come on, let's go into the living room and talk, She offered, leading the way. I'm listening quietly and my brain started making pictures of the story. No, make pictures of my story. Right? Think about this. In the living room, again, everything around us seemed to be made of wood. A sofa piled with fluffy cushions, a long coffee table, and a bigger... Welcome in. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. We are currently reading the lore and editing it a little bit. In the living room, again, everything around us seemed to be made of wood. A sofa piled with fluffy cushions, a long coffee table, and a bigger, bulkier one further away, along with a few shelves here and there. Why is everything made of wood? I finally asked, slowly as I sat down on the sofa beside her. Macy giggled. Oh, I built it all myself. You can see a few mistakes here and there, though. I need to burp. I knew it, I thought to myself, glancing around the room. Behind the table was a large window with some flowers on it, on the sill. And on one of the shelves, I noticed a huge battle axe. Epic. Cool. Well, it was time to break the awkwardness. I started. Alright, listen, Macy. I'm so sorry that we've been such a burden to you. The slime is sort of new to me too, and no, not too as well, and I'm really not sure how to deal with everything that's happened in the last few days. In fact, I don't even know what day it is, and Macy put her finger over my mouth. Relax. You're fine. She chuckled softly. I'm not going to kick you two out. What gave you that impression, dear? Such kindness was given to me again. It was so unfamiliar. I don't know how you ended up unconscious in the snow or whatever that green thing is, but I'm sure you can explain it to me, she said, stroking my head. Speaking of which, where is it? Right here, the slime said coldly, walking down the hall from the bathroom. Water dripping onto the floor, making Macy frown. Ah, yes, well, nice to meet you, little slime, she said, visibly uncomfortable. The slime girl came over and leaned against the wall next to us, eyeing Macy suspiciously. I decided to break the tension and explain to Macy what had happened. The slime wasn't too pleased, but didn't complain either. After a while of explaining and a few more tears shed, I finished the tale. I didn't tell her about burning down my family's house, though. I made it sound like we had run away because of the poor living conditions my parents created for me. Wow, that's a lot. And you two are really interesting, Macy said, her eyes somehow sparkling with joy. You know, before I became a vampire, I was a biologist in the Human and Animal Research Department. Eventually, when we first found out about the existence of magic, I think commas here. Magic, we started working with it. So maybe I can help you to figure out a bit more about yourselves, She offered kindly. The slime still looked skeptical and crossed her arms. You said you were a vampire? Macy and I looked over at her. Yes, I became a vampire when the meteorite struck. Why do you ask? Well, don't get me wrong, but aren't vampires supposed to have no reflection in mirrors? I saw yours in the bathroom earlier, she asked, her voice tinged, laced with hostility as she walked over to us. She seemed taller than before. Oh, that's because they're just... Oh, shut up, you old hag. Just admit it. You took us in so you could have a taste of Katie's delicious blood, didn't you? The slime jumped onto the table and bared her teeth. Stop it! You're causing unnecessary trouble! I shouted, getting to my feet and standing between them. But before I could say anything more, the slime shoved me against the wall with a powerful punch. She flinched and held her own shoulder, the same one I just slammed into the wall. Damn it, she whispered under her breath. Hi, Quasar, come in. Did that mean felt my pain? I had wondered. I started looking around for anything that might stop the slime from attacking Macy. She jumped up with a snarl and set her sights on our host again, who dodged skillfully but crashed into the table by the window in her attempt to recover. I suppose if I were to do that, I would have done it by now, wouldn't I? She asked, straightening up. The slime just growled and glared at Macy with hatred. This cat girl is mine, and I can't really exist without her, so you're going to have to get in line. Ooh, I'm gonna make this more spicy. Fine. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking. Blah, blah, blah. We can have some battle music, actually. Do I have a good... Ooh, Vogel im Käfig is good, but that's too crazy. I need to listen. The vibe is good. No. What is it called? Wait, hold that thought. Hold it. Hold the thought, my friends. This playlist here. I think... There. This one is good, I think. No. This one's... I'm looking For a specific one. Oh, my battery's empty. That I forgot what it's called. I need to get my charger really quickly. I'll be right back, beautifuls. Give me 1 second. Charger acquired. Ugh. In 2 hours already? Jesus. What is that fucking soundtrack called? I need it so I can get into the zone, you feel me? Okay, hold up. There. Is it this one? Oh god, yes. Oh. Okay. Right before my eyes, and before I could understand how any of it was possible, she transformed her 2 slimy hands into long, slick metal blades and lunged at Macy. Our vampire hose moved to the right side of the shelf and grabbed the axe that was attached to it. Incredible. I jumped up, stumbling over the cushions, trying desperately to get in between them. But suddenly, Macy was thrown against the window, which shattered into thousands of pieces with a loud crash. Cold wind crept into the room, filling the air with small snowflakes. The slime pinned her to the ground with its weaponized hands, screeching viciously, baring its teeth and horribly long tongue. I quickly grabbed one of the shards of glass that had fallen at my feet and, without hesitation, sliced it into my own hand, instantly causing the slime to scream in horror. "What the hell, Katie?" she growled angrily and tried to walk over to me, whereupon I pressed the glass further into my hands. The slime continued to scream, and my blood dripped faster down my arm, forming a puddle of crimson at my feet. "Leave Macy alone," I threatened, now pressing the sharp edge against my wrist. "You wouldn't dare," the slime girl said, falling to her knees from the pain. Still in shock, Macy sat in the shattered glass. Her wounds were already healing, and her strength was returning. "Leave Macy alone, or I'll really hurt us both." "Hi, Hale Bill. Welcome in." "I don't care what happens to me, but it seems like you need me to be alive." I had figured it out some time ago. Every time I fiddled with my fingers or chewed on my lip, the slime reacted to it in pain. These chapters are short. The others are so long. "She helped us. She gave us food, a place to sleep, and a warm bath. Even you enjoyed the bath. Don't deny it." I closed my eyes and stepped the broken glass deep into my arm. Macy quickly got up, sprinted over to me, taking the glass from my hand before I could do anything worse. Oh my goodness! Epic music and epic raid! Dana Dombridge, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Hello. Hello, hello. 10 more until I can surpass my old streak. Quaison, let's go. Hello. Oh, Hail Bear, you're the raid leader. Hello. Welcome in. Sorry, my phone was buggy. I didn't even notice that. Okay. I hope your stream was good. I hope everything went well. If you need to rest, please absolutely do that. If not, and you want to hang out a bit more here, please feel free to do that. We are currently reading and editing my lore. So, yeah. I'm thinking about fusing some of the chapters together because this one's only 800 words. Or someone else because I just hear your name. What? I remember she raid you already, or someone else because I just hear your name. Oh? What do you mean? Looks super. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying. But no, definitely go get some rest, or Whatever it is that you need. Stardew Crash? What? It was fun. Oh, perfect. Oh, that's what you were playing. Oh, that's great. Where did I stop? There we go. Macy quickly got up, sprinted over to me, and took the glass from my hand before I could do anything. Worse. That's enough now, she said calmly, taking my hand and whispering to herself as she cast a spell to heal the wounds. Why is music going crazy? I need calm music again, please. Thank you. Calm? Is this one calm? I need calm. Almost. I'll just do this one again. We're fine. The slime girl was still on the ground, puzzled and glaring at her opponent with a snarl. Yes, I have a reflection, and yes, even though sunlight cannot harm me, I am a vampire. All those stories are made up to make people feel better. I would like to prove it to you if you let me, but to attack me without a second thought is irresponsible, she declared. The slime groaned in annoyance and moved to stand at eye level with Macy. Her posture relaxed slightly, and she shrank back to her original size. Tavern vibes? I could. Calmness not to be found. Oddly sadness, I know. I know. You're fucking scarred. Your face is disfigured. How can you be a vampire with a scar across your face? Should I... Hold up, this is the first time the scar is being mentioned. Maybe I should do that earlier. I should. Like here. When she is, like, being introduced. Hi, Clip! Long register dying from neck. She abused her hands at care. Hands. Fanfic notes my lore. A big scar across her face. Incurred. There. Chaos person fanfic. Yes, I'm writing a fanfic about myself. As always, fan of you. Research carefully. Here I am. Yeah. Yes, it is fantasy and a bit dirty because blood and gore and feelings and sometimes titties. Maybe I'm not sure. Anyway, she protested loudly, showing her sharp teeth. This is a scar that I couldn't repair through numerous healing and regeneration attempts. A poisonous newt gave it to me. The poison was so corrosive that my regeneration wasn't fast enough and a scar remained, she replied with a sigh. Macy carried me back to the room and laid me down on the bed. Are you all right so far? She asked again, stroking my cheek. I nodded to her with a smile and hugged her lightly. The slime followed us and was now sulking in the doorway, watching us angrily. Teddies! Yes. Oh yeah! Wait, I can show this actually. Since I've been writing my lore very aggressively lately. Let me... There, Clip Studio Paint. Put that here. Rewrites. Basically, we're reading it and fixing some stuff. And just generally trying to make it better. There we go. Wait. I've been redoing my reference sheet for the story, basically. My mic? My mic? I'm here. Mic is here. Hello? I'm here? Can you still hear me? Mic is fine. Okay. No, I've been making reference sheets for everything. So, since we're reading now, this is the person. This is Macy. Yay! Happiness. The slime followed us and was now sulking in the doorway, watching us angrily. Goodness, just come over here, Macy said, pulling a chair up to the bed. The slime girl walked suspiciously over to us and dropped into the chair. I'll tell you a bit more now, if that's all right with you both, so that we can put all this mistrust aside. She took the ruby necklace around her neck. Too epic. She took the ruby necklace around her neck and nodded to herself. Being a vampire is a lot like being cursed, she explained with a heavy heart. Swallowing. After I was bitten, I fell into a deep sleep that lasted a long time. When I finally woke up, the world I found myself in was completely different thanks to the efforts of the meteorite. I spent days searching for help and eventually wandered into the territory of a poisonous newt. The creature attacked me immediately. What? Ruby pendant? Yeah, she has a necklace. Wait, I'll pull it up again. I'll pull it up again. Do I write pendant or necklace? I don't know. Necklace. Yum. Yum, 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 necklace. Close this. And close this. It swiped at me with its massive paw, and the force of the blow threw me backwards. Do I write pendant? I've been writing necklace everywhere, though. Why is the music getting crazy? Relax. '50 streak is crazy, yeah, but I love it. It's so great. Now I want to see an animated version of this lore. Oh, me too. So much. It swiped at me with its massive paw, and the force of the blow threw me backwards. I managed to escape easily enough because it wasn't moving very fast, but the poison from its claw was far too strong for my magic to handle at the time. I couldn't heal it fully, and that's how I ended up with this scar. I watched intently as the slime girl turned around. Curious, I asked. And what about your reflection? How does that work? So loud. Can I? Like this? Yeah. Type of comic? Oh yes, I would love that. Well, those are just rumors. Alexa, aus. Well, those are just rumors from books and stories that people used to tell. Just like our fear of garlic or being able to levitate off the ground. None of that is really true. Vampire powers are only possible with a magical core. Mine only developed after I had eaten several victims and learned from my experiences. She hesitated for a moment, clutching her necklace tightly. You can improve and expand your powers, like turning into a bat or training your supernatural abilities, but I've concentrated on other, more familiar magic, like healing wounds, and a couple of other things. She finished, looking expectantly at the slime, which still seemed unconvinced. Did it hurt? I asked cautiously. What do you mean, the bite? I nodded. No, not really, but I can't remember it that well. She shook off the question and stroked my head. Is there another word for stroke? Petted? Pet? Brushed? Caressed? Fondling. Caressed and caressed my head. After we exchanged a few more words, Macy left us alone for a while. It was clear the slime girl still didn't trust her, so she decided to get up and follow her quietly. I went too. Macy stepped into the living room to use her magic to fix the broken window, decorate the repaired windowsill, and put up a new vase with flowers. We looked around the corner and watched as she sighed, looking out the window, the ruby necklace placed in her hand. The blue trees rustled, snow sliding softly down to the first floor. She said quietly, quietly, I will find you, no matter how many years it takes. We both snuck quietly back into the room before I could lie down again. The slime grabbed me from behind and disappeared into my body. It was always a strange sensation. My knees weakened and I fell to the ground. It was all too much. I felt numb, unable to take it all in. I sighed heavily, pulled myself up and went to bed. And went onto the bed and snuggled. Wait. How did... Steadied myself, climbed onto the bed, and nestled in? This is nice, but I need a different word for... Can I... I cannot take this. It won't let me take it. Piece of shit. Pulled myself up, went onto the bed, and snuggled into the pillow. I'm so smart. I started to wonder if my family was alright. It felt strangely alone in a stranger's house with a parasitic slime using me as a host. So many words were said today and so many questions arose, all of which still swirled in my head as I fell asleep. Boom. The next day I was awakened by Macy, who had gotten up a little earlier and was tidying the house. She went about her daily chores, made breakfast for us, and wrote herself a to-do list. I noticed her going in and out of a room I hadn't been in before, but I decided not to pry, for now. Breakfast consisted of pancakes, classic but tasty. I enjoyed every bite of every single pancake to the utmost. The food at home never really tasted good, and Macy seemed happy to see me eating her food with such enthusiasm. After breakfast, she approached me. So, I would like to offer the both of you some help. I listened, my curiosity piked. Is that a good word for that? Piked? Peaked? Wake up! At my previous occupation, I learned a lot about different species and how to examine. Oh, this is good. I love this soundtrack. Sorry. At my previous occupation, I learned a lot about different species and how to examine them, due to the big magic investigation in 2030. If you agree, I would like to do some research on you, and especially on the little slime lady. She offered kindly as she dried the dishes I had cleaned. I thought about it for a moment and answered confidently. I don't really have a problem with it. It might even help us out a bit to understand each other more. And if you were to help us with that, I would be very grateful. I handed her a plate and offered a smile. She looked content. Well then, let's go straight to my office. I probably still have some utensils stored here and there. After she said that, she watched the slime smoothly separate itself from my body. A small shiver ran down my spine. Macy looked both amazed and slightly terrified by what she had just witnessed. Ah, good morning to you too. No? Macy said. Macy said. As the slime stretched with a grumpy pout plastered on her face. Alright then, come on, let's go find out what's up with us, she said tiredly, trotting to Macy's office. How did she know where to go? I wondered. Okay, main nervous music and my brain both try not to make me cry. You're fine. The sad parts are not written yet, so don't worry. Oh, yes, of course. Come on, Katie, Macy said, holding out her hand and guiding me to the office. Were you sneaking around last night? Macy asked the slime. Just a little, she answered. What's a good word for rude? Blunt? She answered. Blunt. Blunt? Blunt? Blunt. Once we got to the office, I took another good look around. Not to my surprise, everything was made of wood again. There were lots of cabinets, a desk, and countless books and documents. Macy pulled out a chair from the desk and invited me to sit down. So, first of all, do you have any idea how your situation might have come about? She asked while rummaging through a drawer on the desk. Meanwhile, the slime girl was checking out the books in the room, flipping through the pages, and sometimes sneaking items into her body. I quietly giggled to myself. Probably no bad intentions from her side. Macy didn't seem to mind, but still kept her eye out. The only thing I remember is that witch from back then, but that's about it, the slime said. Memories flooded my head. I remember now too. You're right, the one that Mother hired to take me. How do you remember that? I fell silent, startled by the memory. The slime just shrugged and kept looking through the books. Macy saw my reaction and sighed. You don't need to answer, dear, but I promise I will be there to listen and not judge, okay? Her words warmed my heart. I nodded. Yes, thank you, but Slimy is right. A few years ago, a witch came to us and gave me a strange green liquid. My mother had arranged it, trying to poison me. Macy nodded. But reminding of the sad moments of intimacy. They were so good, though. May I try something? She asked, her voice soft as she reached into a drawer and pulled out a stethoscope. I nodded, a mix of surprise and curiosity swirling in me. As she moved closer, I couldn't help but wonder. The cold rubber of the stethoscope's chest piece pressed against my skin as she carefully scanned my front and back, her touch clinical but gentle. I shivered involuntarily, the cold sensation sending a ripple of discomfort through me. It was a strange feeling, but I tried to stay still, watching her face for any signs of what she might find. Sounds good, she said happily. After that, she checked my ears, eyes, and mouth. About an hour went by. My arms were lifted and stretched, my head examined thoroughly, reflexes checked, and then my eyes. Macy took a strange object with a light on it and took a good look into my eyes. Meanwhile, I had the opportunity to look into hers as well. A beautiful evening red color. Not exactly the same as her hair, but it was hard to tell the difference. All right, you seem to be a healthy little girl. I couldn't find any abnormalities, she said with satisfaction, then turned to the slime, which didn't look pleased about it. You're not planning to do all those things to me now, are you? The slime growled lightly. Well, I can't help you any other way, Macy said. The slime hovered and dropped onto the chair after I got up. As Macy tried to feel around with the stethoscope, her hand slipped into the slime's body. Hi, Esther. Oops, she said snappily. You're going to have to cooperate, little one. Thanks for the hit, babe. Yes, I should hydrate. Hi, soft kitten. Welcome in. I'm not little, she said, morphing her body to be taller. Maisie paused for a second, expression thoughtful. Katie, take this notepad and write down everything I tell you, okay? I took the notepad and looked around for a pen. Suddenly, the slime reached into her abdomen and pulled out a pen. Here, use this one. I looked at the pen, flabbergasted. That's my mom's pen. When did you get that? I asked, vividly confused, but she just shrugged and crossed her arms, pouting. Maisie cleared her throat, looked at me, and nodded. So, she's able to keep a personal inventory in her body, change her size at will, appear transparent, manipulate her own cells, and harden the... Wait, I don't even know all of those words, I said in a panic, trying to catch up. Hey now, it's okay, little one. Come here, I'll write it down. I felt bad, but Maisie's hand stroking my head again calmed me down. Petting. Oh, wrong word. Petting. My head again calmed me down. Did she try to figure out if I can write? Maisie took the pencil and tossed it to the slime. She reacted quickly and grabbed it with her hand. I am very proud of you, soft kid. Look at you, 3 streams. She said. Do you have a death wish? And outstanding response time, Maisie said, writing notes with another pen that she had pulled from a pocket. Bit by bit, she tested the slime and finally came to a result. A name? Maisie asked. There is no name. I don't think it's necessary and serves no purpose. We both looked at the slime. Well, then how about toxine? It's French, Maisie said. Oh, I like that. I agreed with Maisie and looked up at the slime. Like the biogenes in that book you have? Yes, exactly. I also like Toxica, Spanish, but that's up to you. Chaos. If Chaos were to be a D&D character, what class would she be? Tank. Definitely a tank. Sorcerer? I mean, yeah. Good night, Quazon. Thank you. A mage? Oh. Also interesting. Because of the huge ass hammer? Yeah. Barbarian or a fire? I don't know. Some tank, like, she can take a blow. Due to the insane regeneration and the whole cell hardening. So, yeah. Yeah, something like that. The slime looked down and growled. Ugh, if it makes you two idiots happy, I guess. I giggled gleefully, my foot tapping lightly against the floor. Haha, yay, toxine! I walked up to her to try and hug her, but was shoved aside with a hand in my face. Slime covered. I walked up to her to talk about, was shoved aside with a hand in my face, covering it with slime. I like, yeah, but my character would one-shot you. Ooh, that's fine. You can kill chaos. It's just hard. Right? Definitely. Not happening, kitty cat. Maisie laughed heartedly. I've really been missing something like this around the house, she exclaimed, gathering her things. The 3 of us left the room and gathered in the living room, where we spent the rest of the day talking about anything that came to mind. I was so unbelievably happy, given the turn of events in the past days. Maisie had offered us to stay with her for as long as we wanted. I just couldn't decline her kindness, accepted excitedly, and gave her a big hug. What level would she be out of 20? You know what? I now want to read the lore to Great Chaos. You can. It's there. You can get it. definitely. Chaos, I want to say like a 12. I would keep her in my study. I want to say 12. There are weaknesses. Like fighting in water would be crazy hard because the slime acts kind of like oil to water. So it'd be really, really hard to move around, right? Or like in rain. What else would be? I don't know, I guess different types of magics would be stronger. I don't know. I want to put something in here. After she collected all the necessary data, she sat down and told us some things about magic course. From the little experiments she did on us, she found out that we both shared a magic core, which was within my body. This gave reason to the whole parasitic relationship in our bodies. And the reason to... Nope, not yet. To slimes... With a slime getting tired and needing to retreat and rest to get back strength and power. Okay, let me run that through grammar because I'm lazy. See, not that bad. My Uppies collection is coming along nicely. Hell yeah! That's so great. What else do I need to talk to about the magic core? Oh, this is a sad one. I don't want the sad one. No sad song. I need... Oh, this is sad. Can't play that. Hollow Knight music. Oh. Yeah, I can live with this. Okay. The upcoming year was spent together doing the most wonderful things. Every day I helped... Okay, wait. Chapter 7. 1 year later. In May. As well. Katie is now 17. And Slime is basically a year old. Hi, Nature Warrior, welcome in. Oh, this one's interesting as well. Wait, I want to read this to you guys. To the people interested in the lore as well. This one's going to be really interesting. The upcoming year was spent together doing the most wonderful things. Every day I helped Macy with chores and work around the house. And I helped cook every meal for us. The three of us expanded the garden that Macy had built behind her house next to the garden shed so we could plant more vegetables and fruits to feed us every day. One day we went out into the forest to gather molly fruits, large, round, orange-pink fruits. These fruits were not only delicious, but also had seeds that we planted back in the garden. We also got the opportunity to observe a woodland pathfinder from a distance. Huge, tree-like creatures covered in moss and grass, with bird nests perched on their shoulders. These guys had been around for over 500 years, protecting the plants and trees from hostile creatures and evil forces. Macy explained that their name come from their history of helping lost wanderers and adventurers find their way. Why are you studying on stream? I am reading my lore and fixing some stuff about it, actually. I'm not studying. Fuck studying. I don't go to school. I hate studying. No. Hell no. From time to time, we had to defend our territory against some nasty creatures, but to my surprise, Toxine really loved the fighting. Macy taught us a lot of useful things to help us survive, too. Along the way, we discovered more about Toxine and me. She was able to spend more time separated from me, which allowed her to get to know herself better. As I had suspected, our pain was shared, but any wound we both received would heal again when we were together, thanks to her incredible regeneration powers. After a few more tests, Macy determined that it was Toxine who ensured I survived all those illnesses when I was younger. Why does the fruit sound very tasty? Oh, I imagine it to be really, really tasty. Like just big, orange, and the inside is like pink, and you can make curry with it, and it's just so good. Nobody can beat me at roast. That's fine. You can roast me. I just will not give a shit. Maybe I'll draw it one day. Here's big. Wait. I have my art program open, right? Hold up. Like. Can I draw, please? Like this orange? Oh, yes. Wait. That's like a, like, no, maybe brighter. Maybe darker the colors? No, darker. Brighter but more saturated? No. No, maybe it's a different type of pink I'm looking for, or a different type of orange. I don't know, somewhere along these lines of colors. Just orange and pink. From what I can see... Oh... Never mind, the magic course being explained here. I'm an idiot. Thought that. From what I can see, the two of you share a single magic core, Macy explained after one of the last exams. It's used by Toxine, which explains all her abilities, and also why she needs to restore her energy. Don't... But since she's physically linked to you, Katie, the core is placed within you. Now, I don't want to bore you readers with too many more details of every single day, so I'll skip ahead to when things become a bit more tense. About a week before my 17th birthday, we set out as usual to gather some materials for the upcoming week. Macy woke me up early, prepared breakfast! What's going on here? Breakfast! Someone fucking shoot me. Prepared breakfast as always, and after we finished eating, I quickly got dressed when I noticed the snow starting to fall from the shaking cedar trees. Hurry up, Macy, I don't want to miss it this time, I said excitedly, nearly tripping over my boots. Over the year, Macy had made more clothes for me to wear for each season. Okay, don't forget cockwork. I'm coming. Patience, child, she said with a giggle. Just before I opened the door, Macy placed a hat and a scarf on my head. You're not going outside without proper clothing, young lady, she teased, booping my nose. Macy armed herself with her battle axe, grabbed a basket, and attached a few small bottles to her belt. She has belts. She do potions. I was fascinated by all the things she could do with her magic and equipment, and I giggled happily. Come on, I urged, eager to go outside. The forest was quiet, and a cool wind blew between the tree trunks, making our breaths visible in the air. After a while, I asked, "How old are you now?" tugging gently on Macy's sleeve. She sighed. Well, when I was bitten, I was 24 years old, the day that big meteorite hit Earth. My body didn't grow anymore because of the vampire's curse, so I don't age much. It's been 2,971 years since then. I marveled. Why did I write marvel? That's a weird word. Marveled? I guess that's a word. I marveled. Don't you guys ever just marvel? Turns into Iron Man. Ah, damn it, I marveled again. Anyway, I marveled. Have you been counting every day? That's incredible, I said, wide-eyed. We walked through the forest for a while, gathering materials, but suddenly we heard a thudding sound getting closer. We froze in place. Macy slowly moved her hand to the axe on her back. A large moss-covered creature emerged from the trees, moving slowly. Oh goodness, it's just one of the woodland pathfinders, she said, breathing a sign of relief and lowering her guard. I'm gonna draw these two one day. He looks sad, I said quietly, glancing at the towering tree-like creature. I held Macy's hand tightly. They were friendly creatures, but I couldn't help but feel a sense of respect and fear. Don't worry, he won't harm us, Macy reassured me, bowing her head respectfully to the woodland pathfinder. The creature moved its long arm in our direction. I flinched at first, but then saw that it was holding a small flower in its wooden hand, pushing it toward me invitingly. My eyes sparkled with excitement. Macy bowed to the creature again, and I followed suit. I followed. Carefully taking the flower from its hand and placing it in our basket before continuing on our way. This is a reference to the way, fuck, what's the anime called? It's the Ghibli anime with the big robot that has like all this moss on its back, and it's like putting a flower out. We walked for a couple more minutes and soon found what we were looking for. The pink-orange fruits hanging from a tree. Yes, Lapita! You know it. Ho ho ho, jackpot! Macy exclaimed, reaching for the fruit. Lapita? Yeah, no, that one. If you were a story, you'd be my protagonist. Ah, thank you. I am the protagonist in this one. Dandelion, thank you so much. You're so sweet. We walked for a couple more minutes and soon found what we were looking for, the pink-orange fruits hanging from a tree. Ho ho ho, jackpot, Macy exclaimed, reaching for the fruit. But then the wind carried a strange odor towards us. My attention was caught by the scent. I followed it a few steps to a clearing where I saw a creature lying unconscious on the ground. Its head was half severed, covered in blood. What the... I whispered, slowly approaching. Suddenly, Macy called out to me. I'm over here, I answered her and waved. What's going on? She asked, concerned as she stepped into the clearing. Oh dear, what happened? She examined the scene and quickly realized that the animal had been magically paralyzed. It was the work of a vampire with hypnotic abilities. Why is there another vampire here? She murmured, her voice tinged with worry. I thought I made sure no one would snoop around my territory. She lowered her voice and carefully moved me behind her. It seemed like she was sensing something in the air, almost like an animal sniffing for tracks. Macy reacted swiftly. She shoved me into a bush just before a huge spear flew in our direction, grazing her shoulder and lodging itself in a tree behind her. Well, well, look at you. So he was right. You're still alive. Macy lead on. Can't stop thinking about Lapta or Laputa! You silly! Puta. You're insane. I need fighting music now. Hold up. Maybe I'll put on. What if we listen to Vogel in Käfig? Might hit, might not. Okay. A slim man with messy, unkempt hair and a black coat that was left unbuttoned stepped out from the shadows of the trees. His eyes glowed with an unnatural purple hue, a sharp contrast against the pale sunlight, his black boots crunching in the fresh snow. The eerie sound echoed in the quiet forest. No, this is too crazy. No. Too crazy. Maybe this one. If you need a good fight, is over the Dark Souls. Yeah, no, it's not the one. Yes, but also no. I need to be specific. Who are you and what are you doing here? Macy asked, her voice calm but edged with suspicion. She stood a little taller, positioning herself protectively between him and me, her hand inching toward the axe strapped on her back. Oh, don't be like that, my dear, he said smoothly, a twisted smile creeping across his face. This is not it. This is not it. It's not perfect. Wait, I have a playlist for reading. Maybe I find some good fighting music in there. You know what? Sure. Let's hope my stream doesn't get banned. Hi, Matthews! Very evil. No, he's not that evil. Okay. Oh, don't be like that, my dear, he said smoothly, a twisted smile creeping across his face. The music's not right. I love it though, it's hit. Ah! I'm gonna kind of because it hits. It's not it though. I can't. Maybe I'll go with this one. Macy kept her eyes on him, never letting him out of sight. Her hand brushed the handle of her axe as she prepared for whatever move he might make next. It's not it either. His necklace, the man pointed, straight at Macy's neck. Her reaction was immediate. With a swift practice motion, she yanked the necklace from her neck and flung it into the air. "Taxine, catch!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the tension. I blinked in confusion and watched as the chain flew towards me. Before I could react, I felt Taxine separate from my body. She swooped in and caught the necklace quick, swallowing it in a single gulp. The sudden jolt pulled me towards, and before I could regain my balance, I stumbled, falling face first into the snow. The snow was cold and wet, and as I tried to push myself up, Taxine let out an evil-sounding giggle. Her voice echoed before she vanished from sight. She'd make a fun demi. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Macy's eyes blazed with determination as she gripped the handle of her axe, her fingers tightening around it. She whispered something under her breath, and a faint crimson glow began to emanate from her palm. A deep, almost primal hum filled the air as she focused on her blood magic. The air around her seemed to shift as the crimson glow crept down her arm and into the axe itself. Slowly, with a subtle but unmistakable growl of power, her axe began to expand. The wood of the handle thickened and elongated, while the blade itself grew larger, sharper, its edges glowing a deeper red. With a final, almost imperceptible surge of magic, the axe became a towering weapon, now almost twice its original size, radiating a menacing aura. Macy's grip was firm and resolute as she swung it with ease. The power of her enhanced axe making her every move seem even more devastating. "Let's see how you handle this," she muttered, her voice low and filled with a quiet, dangerous confidence as she charged at the vampire, the massive blade cutting through the air with deadly intent. But Macy wasn't done yet. She threw a small bottle at him, the contents bursting into a cloud of dust that blinded him temporarily. Shut up, Margarita. The vampire staggered back, momentarily disoriented. At that very instant, toxin erupted from the earth behind the vampire. Her body twisted into a deadly form, her hands sharpened like blades, reaching for him with a crazed laughter that sent a shiver down my spine. Meanwhile, still a little dazed, I noticed the spear that had lodged itself in the tree earlier. Without thinking, I rushed toward it, grasping the cold metal. The spear was stuck at first, but with a sudden forceful tug, it came free. Its sharp point glistening in the sunlight as I held it in my hands. I tried to aim it at the vampire, but before I could throw it, the vampire turned his malicious gaze on me. He pulled the spear with his magic back to him, making Macy dodge to the side and hitting Toxin along the way. I was still holding onto the spear. "Well, what have we got here?" A cruel smile at the corner of his lips. "A little pet." He took a step toward, reaching out, but before he could grab me, I lashed out indistinctively, kicking him in the stomach. The force of the kick sent him stumbling back, but he recovered quickly. His cold eyes filled with contempt. This is a reference to how cats have really strong hind legs to, like, kill predators from, like, lying on their back, you know? The spear fell to the ground, but as I reached for it again, the vampire used his magic, making the weapon fly back into the air, knocking me to the ground once more with a harsh impact. Macy quickly made her way over to me to ensure I was all right. "Run to the house with Toxin," Macy ordered, her voice tight with urgency. "I'll be right with you." But before she could finish, Toxin's voice rang out from the distance. "Watch out! He's running away from you!" She shouted, her tone filled with anger. With that, she bolted after the vampire, her form blurring with speed as she chased him deeper into the forest. Macy cursed under her breath, scooping me into her arms effortlessly. "Don't ever do that again," she muttered, her voice laced with worry as she hugged me tightly. "Are you okay?" she asked, pulling back to look at me with concern in her eyes. I nodded, offering a weak smile to reassure her. "I'm fine." That shit is peak. I will. Next fight, okay? Keep that. Next time I say there's a fight, you tell me that again, okay? "Good," she said, visibly relieved. "Come on, we have to follow her quickly. We've got tracks in the snow, but if it starts snowing again..." No, we've got tracks. Now... Does the hammer have any magical properties? You mean mine? I imagine a scene in a cartoony version of the vampires. I mean, you can. You can. It breaks skulls, if that counts. My hammer, does it have any magical properties? Honestly, I haven't thought too much about it. I just know that Chaos has a hammer, and it's big. I only have one drawing of it as well. Maybe I'll change it. Maybe it'll stay like that. Maybe. I have to write this stuff first. There's a lot of lore stuff I can't tell you guys yet because I need to write it. but don't worry about it. Yes. Good, she said, visibly relieved. I already did this. Can't have you two be separated too long now. No. She didn't wait for a reply, lifting me up on her shoulder with surprising ease. No, I don't need to put this there. We know that she's strong. She swung her axe through the air, making the magic on it disappear and putting it back into the leather lace on her back before sprinting off after Tuxie. The air felt colder now, the snow starting to... The air felt colder now. Once the snow started to fall. If Chris has a hammer, what Pepin does? She is a weapon. Imagine Parasite. Wait. Parasite. I mistyped. Oh, I mistyped again. Imagine like this. Hello, Relena. Welcome in. I'm doing good, thank you. Yeah, or Carnage. No, but imagine this, basically. But sure, Carnage works too. Yeah. The air felt colder now once the snow started to fall, just like Macy foretold, in heavy flakes, obscuring the ground. No, wait. Put that here. And now we need something different. Something normal. Oh, this is also really good fighting. I'm gonna need that later. I'll just put this one on again. Meanwhile, Tuxine had reached the edge of a cliff deep in the forest. The area was eerily silent. The cliff stretched down into a blackened chasm where strange vapors swirled in the air, creating an unsettling atmosphere. She stood at the edge, her gaze fixed on the figure across. You know what? No. I'll just put on fighting music when we need it, because I have good ones. She stood at the edge, her gaze fixed on the figure across from her on the other side. The vampire, his expression full of annoyance and a hint of helplessness, seemed to know that there was nowhere for him to go. Suddenly, I heard Macy's voice behind me. Tuxine, there you are. Wait. No, we are not there. What? Beside. Wait, does this mean it can fly? No. No flying. I mean. No. Because it's either metal or slime. With the metal, it would be unstable. With a slime, it just wouldn't work. Right? She can mold her body into any object, really, but it's still slime. Right? Yeah. Macy said as she slowed to stop beside her. Dot. Before I could move toward Tuxine to hug her, Macy grabbed the back of my jacket, holding me back. Not so fast. Katie, it's dangerous, she warned, her grip firm. I started to move toward Tuxine, wanting to hug. We already did that. Why is that twice here? See, this is why I reread. I also have good fighting music. Mother... As I saw the guy on the other side. Why is he here? I asked, trying to make sense of the situation. Macy's eyes narrowed as she tried to get a better look at the vampire. I don't know, but that look on his face, it's unsettling. He is not going anywhere, Tuxine said mischievously. That's one of those really old bastards. He won't leave until you blink. What an idiot. Tuxine's voice was filled with disdain, yet there was a certain cold satisfaction in her words as she watched him from the edge of the cliff. Macy glanced at me, then back at the vampire. I see. Then we'll just have to figure out how to get to him. She paused, her eyes scanning the rocky cliffs ahead. Well, she hesitated. I've only been over there once. There are creatures that I wouldn't want to cross paths with again. Why is this here? And what do we do now? I asked, concerned, trying to look down into the chasm. Tuxine sighed and stopped to look at him after Macy gave her an agreeing look. No use keeping him here. Let's regroup and come up with a plan to get him. To get to him, Macy said, scanning the other side of the cliff. Hi, Reverie. Wouldn't it be better to leave him be and just go home? I asked worriedly, tugging on Macy's sleeve. She gave me a worm look but said, Yes, you're right, but I'm afraid he'll come back. So it's better to find him first. Plus, something he said has been on my mind for a while. She answered with a stern look in her eyes. He had mentioned something about her ruby... Why does it say bracelet? Necklace. Before, I wondered, glancing down the cliff, curious. Don't fall, Tuxine teased, giving me a light nudge on the back, causing me to wobble. I went pale and quickly took a few steps back. Cut that out, girls, Macy scolded us sternly, lost in her own thoughts. Tuxine grumbled, annoyed, and started to examine the edge of the cliff. Curiously, I followed her and grabbed the slime girl's hand, which she responded to with a grumpy growl and a faster step forward. Now I need fighting music. This one? Okay, Raven, give me your thingamabobsicle. Here. That one? It needs to be specific, though. If it doesn't fit, it won't work, okay? Let me listen. 6 minutes? That works. It's loading. It's getting loud. Oh, shit. No. We're not gonna skip to the middle. This is good. It's building. It's building. Alright, hold that thought. Hey, don't pull like that, I complained, just before I tripped over a root and fell to the ground, lowering our guard and pulling Tuxine down with me. She criticized my clumsiness and energetic, but instead of listening to her, I noticed that the root, which had just been an obstacle, started to move slightly. Several bushes slowly began to stir and twist unnaturally, forming into a massive creeping shape. I froze in panic as I saw the creature silently rise before us and tugged urgently at Tuxine's arm. She still didn't notice and kept muttering to herself, brushing off dirt and sticks from her body. My tail bristled and my ears laid back in fear. Macy, still lost in thought, was startled by the sudden rustling of the forest. Her eyes caught the movements just in time as the plant spread its vines and roots wide across the ground, preparing to strike. The massive plant rose into full view, an enormous pulsing organism of lilac petals and green vines. Several hungry mouths opened between its bushy petals, each ringed with the jagged teeth and dripping with drool. The petals were beautifully deceptive, soft purple lilac hues. Before the creature could lunge, Macy acted. She clapped loudly and quickly, drawing its attention toward her. Get out of here quickly, she shouted in panic, not stopping her rhythm. Finally, Tuxine realized what was going on, grabbed me and leaped back, landing beside Macy, who then stopped her noise. Hi, Shark Minky, welcome in. The plant tensed up its root, repositioning as it pivoted towards us, reacting to the sounds. Vines slithered across the ground, tapping, tasting, hunting. Why is this? I don't know. That's a weeping poison lilac, Macy whispered, barely audible. It has an extremely sharp sense of hearing. Any sound, even a breath too loud, will draw its attention. Get to here. Where are we here? Maxine just crossed her arms and rolled her eyes. Meanwhile, I was trying not to hyperventilate. Why did I do this? I actually don't know. It's like, right on, and I'm starting to cry again. What do we do now? I asked in a trembling whisper, watching as the monstrous plant spread itself across the first floor. It was so large it had already blocked the way we came, and the only path left was the chasm behind us. This wasn't the first time the three of us had faced a monster, but this one surpassed anything I could have imagined so far. You guys distracted, Toxine said casually. The plant reacted, twitching, listening. We both stared at her in horror. Are you insane? Macy said as quietly as she could. Toxine rummaged around inside her own body, ignoring us completely. Ah, there it is, she said, sounding pleased, pulling out a rope. At the exact moment the plant lashed out a vine, whipping towards us. Macy reacted instantly, snatching me up and rolling to the side. She reached to her belt, threw a small glass bottle, and when it struck to the ground, it burst into steam, hissing and clouding the area. Maybe this numbing dust will sort its senses. Toxine tied one end of the rope to a tree stump near the edge of the cliff, gave us a lazy salute, and then jumped into the abyss. I want to draw that. Hey, you moron! Macy shouted after her. Watch out for the roots! Toxine yelled from below, getting more quiet as she fell. The ground suddenly shook as roots moved beneath us, pushing the earth up. I covered my head just as one of the roots shot out towards Macy. It missed her by inches. Right, it's better if I put a dot here. With an annoyed growl, Macy grabbed her axe and in one sharp motion ran her hand along the blade. Her fingers bled slightly and the red magic reacted immediately. Her weapon grew in size, glowing with crimson light as it pulsed and reshaped again. The axe's head expanded, sprouting serrated edges, and the handle lengthened with a twisted black metal vine coiling around it. It was a terrifying but beautiful thing for me to witness a second time in one day. She slashed through the roots that reached for us, shouting, "Come on, Katie, we've got to make our way down. I'm not letting that walking flower snack have the last word." By now, Toxine had made it to the other side of the chasm. She peeked back over to us, nodded confidently, and secured the rope to a tree root on her end. Luckily, it was just long enough thanks to her slime, which she used to stretch it a bit further. Then she slightly pulled on the rope to test it. She slowly stepped on it and made her way over to us, grabbing Macy, who was still holding me with one arm, lifted us both up, and dashed back onto the rope. Of course the plant noticed. It curled itself up along the rope, trying to reach us. The line started to sway, throwing off Toxine's balance, but instead of falling, she decided to make one huge leap and landed on the opposite edge. She stumbled, and we all went down together, crashing hard onto the forest floor. The rope snapped, and alright, I need to write this. And the poisonous plant tumbled into the abyss. Not even its vines and roots could save it now. Toxine grumbled, annoyed, and slimed herself up from the ground. I was too busy vomiting into the grass to say or notice anything. Macy let out a sigh of relief. "Everyone in one piece?" she asked, concern in her voice, and went to stroke my back. Toxine shot back with attitude. "Without me, you'd be plant food by now." She then walked over to me, pushed Macy outside, and continued to pat my back. Thanks, Tuxine, I said, and gave her a grateful look. Actually, no, I keep that here. But it wasn't over. Now we were on the other side of the chasm, the very one Macy had hoped to avoid. She fished around in one of her pockets of her dress and pulled out a small, folded-up piece of paper. It was a hand-drawn map of the area. I stumbled over beside her and peeked at the slightly wrinkled sketch. Is it here already? Yeah! Map! There. I was planning to take this bridge here, Macy muttered, pointing to a mark on the map, so we wouldn't have to go into this here forest, but that awful plant ruined it, and now we are stuck. Suddenly, a low, distant growl echoed between the rotting trees. It's already 3 hours. I know. If you need another music, that one? Okay, I do need one right now, actually. It's Elden Ring. Let's see if this one's good. Suddenly, a low, distant growl echoed between the rotting trees. Silence. A dead, heavy kind of silence. Macy stood and slowly stepped into the dead-looking forest. The trees looked hollow and empty, and the grass on the ground seemed grey and dusty. I followed her, my heart pounding. Tuxine huffed and strutted beside us, clearly annoyed, but still with us. Suddenly, a massive creature emerged from between the dying trees, crunching them beneath enormous claws and growling like a huge feral bear. A long spiked tail swung behind it, and a gaping maw full of jagged teeth and a revolting, almost lizard-like tongue snapped into view. Of course, Macy muttered to herself, swallowing hard. Today really isn't my lucky day. The beast let out a strange hiss and spat a large puddle of acidic liquid onto the ground. Definitely a threat display. Nice to see you again, you filthy lizard. Macy snarled and charged right at the thing without hesitation. I dropped to my butt and clutched my tail and my arms, frozen in place. Tuxine just sighed and watched with her arms crossed, as Macy tried to fight the huge lizard with her axe, but her attacks barely scratched it, and it kept swinging her side by side with its powerful claws. Macy had finally had enough. She grabbed one of her vials on her belt, uncorked it, and drank the contents. Her magic flared up instantly. A large red orb began glowing in the center of her body, lighting her from within. This was now the third time Macy has used her full magic to fight for us. I noticed the sweat dripping down her cheek and her labored breathing. She then used her blood to shape her axe into a huge bow. With sharp focus, she then summoned several small red arrows of blood magic and fired them from her glowing bow straight at the monster. The creature roared and charged. Without flinching, Macy reshaped the arrow into a massive shield, crouched behind it, and braced for impact. The shield released a blow of razor-sharp spike that pierced the beast's hide, sending it stumbling back. I saw a chill running down Tuxine's spine, and then she grinned. Wide. Her cheeks flushed a soft pink. Whatever Macy just did lit a fire in her. Motivated and clearly thrilled, Tuxine finally joined the fight. I'd never seen her so fired up. She laughed in her raspy voice and confident way, shaped her arms into two massive metal claws before lunging at the beast. The lizard spat another ball of acid at her, but she just cackled. Ha ha ha! You can't fight poison with poison, dumbass! And tore straight across its face with a metallic swipe. Tuxine continues to slice the monster at every angle possible. Macy, clearly impressed and a little taken aback, watched with a dazed grin. For the final blow, she channeled all her energy into her axe, turning it into a huge glowing weapon of raw red magic. With one clean swing, she slashed it right through the creature's midsection, slicing it clean in two. The beast let out one final screech before collapsing to the forest floor. Greenish blood splattered everywhere. Defeated. Tuxine looked more than satisfied, beaming over at Macy as she drew in the last of her magic and calmly let it dissolve with a flick of her hand, falling to her knees. That was fucking awesome. That's your full-on magic? Tuxine asked, wide-eyed and bouncing with excitement. I'd never seen her like that before. Macy nodded. I'll tell you more later, but we've gotta go. All that noise probably called more of those lizard things our way. I bet they're already on the move. She slowly walked over to me and gently scooped me off the ground to make sure I was alright. No need to be so overprotective, Tuxine said with one eyebrow raised. Macy just rolled her eyes, gave me a hug, and then set me back down. Alright, ladies, let's see. Macy pulled out her map again and checked their surroundings. Meanwhile, I glanced over at Tuxine. What's the most powerful spell that exists in your world, Freddy? No idea. But I do have the underworld with a shit ton of crazy things. And I have the heavens, which are also really, really powerful. So, I don't know, man. Like, the Demon King? Maybe? I don't know if he's the strongest. Maybe. Those were some really cool moves you had back there, I said, praising her with a kind smile. A light pink blush shimmered on her cheek as she huffed. Heh, yeah, I know, I'm freaking cool, right? What's the most powerful spell that exists now? I don't know. It's a good question. The strongest? Here? Probably Macy at this current part of the story from the characters that we know. Powerful spell? I don't know, man. Not every spell has a name because everything's made with magic cores, so it's just kind of like blunt energy. Waymo indeed. I giggled in agreement. She's so interesting. Despite the fact that I am afraid of her and that she's probably responsible for the death of my whole family, she always seems so comforting to me. I really like having her and Macy in my life. Okay, I found a route that'll take us to an old friend. Someone who might be able to help us find the vampire and give us a place to rest for the night, she said, putting away her map and starting to lead the way. After letting out a sigh, she added, I know we had other plans today, and you both must be exhausted, but this is something big. Something I need to look into. I've been searching for someone for quite some time, and that guy from earlier might actually help me get closer to that. Macy looked really troubled by it. I couldn't help but feel bad, so I tugged gently on her sleeve and gave her a worried look. Tuxine, meanwhile, was casually picking something out of her teeth, clearly not too invested in the moment. I wouldn't mind a little adventuring, I said softly, trying to reassure Macy. She just sighed. This might turn into something bigger than it seems. She said after a pause. So I want to give both of you the option to head home with me tomorrow if you want to. I can continue the search on my own, but I can't tell you how long it'll last. Macy glanced over her shoulder, then stopped walking entirely. The air between us grew heavier. I didn't mean to drag you two into this mess, she said quietly, almost like she was confessing something to us. She looked down at her boots. I need you to understand. The person I'm looking for. I tilted my head. Who is it? She paused. He was my lover, back before the meteorite hit. I thought he was gone, but There's a chance that he's still out there, and I need to find out. Toxine gave a low whistle and muttered, "So it's a romance thing. Gross." I stepped forward, my chest fluttering with determination. "Then we'll find him," I said. My voice was soft but certain. "We're already here, and I don't want to go home leaving you to this alone. Me and Toxine really don't have much in this life except for you." Macy blinked at me like she wasn't expecting that. Toxine shrugged and crossed her arms. She grumbled, "Someone's gotta keep you alive." But I saw the slight blush on her cheeks again, and the ghost of a smile. "By the way, I didn't ask what you do, dear." "What?" Like here on stream? We are currently rereading, like live reading, my lore and kind of editing it, you know? Just like helping Macy feel you with determination. No, yeah, no, really. Oh, I know. Macy took a deep breath, her shoulders relaxing for the first time since the fight. "Okay then, let's do this together." We weren't just following her goal. This mission, this search, belonged to all of us now. It was a reason for me to keep going. A little while later. "How much longer till we're out of this creepy forest?" Toxine asked, clearly annoyed. Music. Sure, let's go with this again. Okay. Meanwhile, Macy was studying her map, tracing a path with her finger. "Not much further. Once we see grass again, we should come across a tavern," she explained, glancing around. "A tavern? What's this? You want to get wasted already?" Toxine giggled, smirking at Macy. "Funny." She replied dry. Before long, the forest began to thin, and we finally saw the first signs of green. Trees and bushes that didn't look like they wanted to eat us. Macy let out a breath of relief and stepped forward. She double-checked her map before heading straight for a wooden cabin, above which hung a sign. "Varkin's Tavern." "Finally," she whispered and stepped up to the door just as two pig-like creatures stumbled out. Completely wasted, they tossed their mugs onto the forest floor and staggered in our direction. Macy instinctively stepped in front of Toxine and me. From inside, you could hear loud music, laughter, and plenty of grunting. "Hello." Now we can put on tavern music. Tavern ambience. You know what? No, maybe I'll do it on tavern ambience. Bit too loud there. Yeah. Bald! Hi, Raven. It's time for tavern vibes. From inside, I could hear loud music, laughter, and plenty of grunting. "Well now, what do we have here?" One of the pigmen slurred, leaning on his buddy. His glassy eyes scanned Macy's figure, and he grossly licked his snout, tusk and all. "Ho ho, what a spicy little thing," the other one added, stumbling towards her. Macy sidestepped just in time, and the pigman face-planted into the dirt, instantly passing out. Hey, don't crap out on me now," his friend slurred as he tried to haul him back up. Both of them eventually staggered off together. Toxine looked over at Macy with an annoyed expression. Macy just shrugged and headed into the tavern. The place was packed with all kinds of creatures playing cards, laughing, and singing songs arms in arms. What happened to Bald? I'll fix it! Straight ahead was a bar lined with all sorts of drinks and glasses. Behind it stood a massive boar-like creature with an eye patch and a huge keg strapped to his back. He was busy polishing glasses, but the moment his eyes landed on Macy, a huge grin spread across his face. Well, I'll be damned! Vampire Macy Lidon! He bellowed so loudly that several guests turned their head to look at us with curious eyes. Hey, Varkin. How great it is to see you again. Macy greeted him politely and reached out to shake his hand. You're still looking just as radiant as ever, he chuckled, gripping her hand with a firm shake. What brings a pretty gal like you back to an old boar like me? So you need the orb? Yes, magic cores is what they're called. Physical in any way? It can be! Hold up, I have a good reference for it. This character's magic core basically looks like this. Right? It is within, it can be visible if the magic, like, in one of the scenes Macy used all of her magic, so the orb was like glowing, you could like see it inside her body, like glowing really, really like crazy. He uncorked a bottle and poured a sweet-smelling drink into a wooden cup. More elderberry juice, just the way you liked it, love. Just the way you like it, love, he said, handing it over. That's when he noticed the green slime girl wandering the tavern with curiosity, and me, a little dazed, next to Macy's side. Like an atom? Yeah, just imagine a big ball. No worries, Varkin. They're with me, Macy said calmly, taking a sip and exhaling the weight of the day. Varkin, we need to stay the night at your tavern. We wandered a bit too far from home and could really use a place to rest. She dropped a few coins into his hands and added, and if it's not too much trouble, something small to eat for all of us, if Valerie's in, of course. Varkin burst out laughing and gave Macy a hearty slap on the shoulder. For you, love, I'd do anything. Hey, Valerie, the vampire lady's back. From the back of the tavern, a strong-looking pig woman in an apron appeared, holding a large wooden spoon in one hand. To Pixie. Making me a D&D sheet, what? Can you steal the orb? I can't talk about that. That soon. Shh. Macy! She squealed and pulled her into a big hug. It's so nice to see your lovely face. What brings you all the way out here? While they were caught up, I slowly made my way over to Tuxine, which was checking out the numerous wine bottles in a shelf. Evil wizard? Remember the witch? Hey, what you doing? I whispered. Tuxine flinched slightly and let out a groan. Seriously? You can't just sneak up on me like that. I giggled. Sorry. Looking around the tavern. Wow, there are so many different creatures here. The place was alive with laughter, shouting, carts slamming onto the tables, songs being sung. It was like a little world all on its own. I can't talk about that yet. Looks like a tavern for drunkards, Tuxine muttered, making her way over to Macy. Well, look who finally decides to say hello, Macy said with a small smile to Tuxine, while I took a good look at the two pig creatures, Varkin and Valerie. Well, sweetheart, come along. I'll get you all set up with a room, Valerie said warmly, her voice full of motherly kindness. I wondered what the story between these two was and how Macy met them. Valerie gave Macy a gentle pat on the back and turned toward a narrow staircase tucked away behind the bar. The wood creaked under her steps as she led the way. We followed close behind, tired but grateful. the sounds of laughter and music from the tavern below slowly fading as we climbed. It felt like we were finally getting a moment to breathe. 2 distinct cores? No. You definitely only have 1. If you have 2, that's kind of... no, I don't think that would be possible. No. The room was small but cozy. As soon as we got inside, Tuxine threw herself dramatically onto the bed and started fake snoring like a child. I giggled and jumped in right after her, curling up beside her like it was the most natural thing in the world. But then Tuxine just gave me an annoyed glance. "I'll let you know once dinner's ready," Valerie said gently, closing the door behind us. Well, my imagination is making the best pictures. Yeah, that's good. "What a lovely tavern," I whispered, glancing around the room with a smile. "Caitlin?" Macy's voice pulled my attention instantly. A chill ran down my spine when she said my name like that. I turned to face her, my eyes wide. "Are you okay?" she asked gently. "I know today's been a lot." She patted my forehead lightly, brushing hair out of my face. I nodded and held my tail close to my chest. It was a little scary, yeah. "I will make sure to protect you, even if things are strange, even if they don't make sense. I'll be with the 2 of you," she whispered, stroking my hair with such care it nearly made me cry. Then suddenly I felt another pair of arms warmly wrap around me from behind. I turned my head, but I only caught a glimpse of green before Tuxine despaired within me. That warmth in my chest spread through my whole body. This was the only way for me to tell if she's with me or not. "All right then, I'll go downstairs and help Valerie in the kitchen," Macy said as she headed towards the door. "Rest a little, Katie. I'll wake you once dinner's ready." The door closes. The door closed. I listened as her footsteps faded down the hallway, leaving a peaceful silence behind. With a heavy sigh, I flopped back onto the bed. Today's events rushed through my mind like a runaway train. So much had happened, more than before in this last quiet year. I wondered how Macy was feeling. Something huge was brooding underneath. I could feel it. After a while, I remembered something. Something I had been meaning to ask Tuxine. "Tuxie, are you still, awake-ish?" I asked softly, tapping my cheek. For a moment there was only silence, then a groggy, slightly irritated voice echoed in my mind. What? A small shiver ran down my spine. She sounded annoyed, or just tired. "I was thinking about today," I said carefully, "and I wanted to ask, back when you jumped down that horrible cliff, what did you see down there?" There was a pause. For a second, I worried I'd made her mad with my weird question. "Nothing much, to be honest," she finally answered, her voice lazy. "Just lots of bones, thick mist, and a bunch of stones. Why? That's a weirdly specific thing to ask, Cat." "Hi, Phelan. Do you have any comfy vibes?" "Oh, keeping that in mind. Good. The room was warm and still. The faint cackle of the tavern fireplace below lulled me into a sense of safety. My eyes felt heavier with each passing second. "I think I'll just close my eyes for a minute," I mumbled sleepily. Yeah, you go do that." Tuxine's voice faded, almost like a protective whisper, and with that, I let myself drift into the quiet pull of sleep. And with that, I actually have to stop. Even though I have like a shit ton of things to go through, and this is where shit gets interesting. Sadness. No, but I need to stop. I don't want to stop, but I have to. Sadness. I want to go on. Motherfucker. But no, I need to make dinner. And then relax. Today has been a lot. Bah. I had to piss. Yes, I'm ending. I don't want to end. Believe me, I want to continue. This was a nice stream. I'm having a lot of fun. But unfortunately, I have to. Life calls. Reality. Sadness. Is anyone from Vikio live? No, they are not. But I can send you to Soft Kitten. Funsies all the way. Yeah! Eventually, all good things come to an end, but don't be sad. That ending is yes! No, I'll continue this. You guys don't hate it this, so maybe we'll even do that on like next stream. Friday? Yeah, Friday. Unless I have the opportunity to stream earlier, which is highly unlikely. But if I can, of course I will. I'd love to read more. I get to finish it. I get to, you know, yeah, you know, that'd be great. I have to go to work tomorrow at 7 a.m. though, so I need to make dinner now and then knock the fuck out. Unfortunately. It's rad for real. The cool stuff is only to come. This wasn't even like the highlight yet. This is just the beginning. I have so much shit I need to write down. You have no idea. But I gotta go now. Sadness. I'll see you guys latest on Friday. Oh shit. No, there we go. Oh, take care, everyone. Thanks for being here today, and I'm gonna go send you over to Soft Kitten. Go and give them a good raid. Take care now, okay? Bye bye.